Hey, what's up, everybody? We're live. Welcome to Awesome Talk, Season 7, Episode 4 on September 20th, 2016.
That is the day.
Tonight we have, obviously, as you can see, a very packed bar with a lot of very interesting people with a lot of interesting points of views. And we got this guy, you know what I mean? So, like, we're good to go. We're good to go. So, let me do a little bit of introducing about what's going on in tonight's show. Okay, Michael Mayhem? Tonight, we have the boys from Wood and The Tapeworms here. I want to hear a big round of applause for these guys.
I'm just going to do it.
No, you can do it. You can do it. Go for it. Go for it. I love it. I love it. We have Will, Mike, and John in the house. We also have Awesome Talk veteran John Lacki from SuperTeamMateShoot.com.
The most tender lover you will ever have.
Oh, he's got hands that are fish hands.
He cares. He cares. It's not just about him, it's about you two.
You don't get that all the time.
That beer is well trimmed for a reason.
You don't get that all the time, you know? I'm sorry. I won't do that to everybody. In the house from the band Ronin, we have Michael Mayhem.
Absolutely, Mr. Mike.
And welcome to the bar, everybody. This is the happiest I've been all fucking day, man. I'm so glad to see everybody here. This is really great. The rest of us, we should probably introduce ourselves, the normies.
The normies.
I'm your host, Rick.
I'm Ryan L. Brains.
That's
L Brains.
L. Brains. Los Brains.
L Brain.
I'm Tony.
Tony.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, asshole,
leaves
this
you,
is
yeah.
your only thing that you have to say.
Back to you, Rick.
Oh, thanks, Geggy Ta.
You can go back to the Shire after this.
Yeah. Okay, so something I wanted to bring up, something on the light side to start the night off with. I wanted to talk a little bit about, and only because it's been a conversation I've been having on Twitter a lot lately, about rebooted films.
You have conversations on Twitter?
Sure. Oh, yeah, of course.
They're very short.
It's quick. It's really quick.
You gotta really choose your words.
There are a few reboots that are coming up that are a little.
One of your cats is up to something shady.
What
I can
is
say
happening?
that.
What is that sound?
It's Beebs with the.
I always gotta get into some shit. Anyway, so there's some reboots coming, right? So some of them I can get behind, right? Because some of them it's like, wow, what would that look like now if the technology was where they wanted it to be at the time, right? But when you look at Big Trouble in Little China with The Rock as Jack Burton, you guys know what I'm talking about?
I like The Rock.
You guys have never seen it.
I like The Rock, though.
I like The Rock, too.
I don't really give that much of a fuck about that movie, though. You know what I mean? It's like, so what? You know, like,
Isn't he gonna be in a remake of Jumanji?
oh, I heard there was a Jumanji one coming, too.
I'm going to go ahead and say we should absolutely impose a rule. No remaking any films that featured Robin Williams.
Okay.
That's,
Okay.
You know what? I'll give you, yeah.
That's
a hard.
You talking Jumanji? You talking Jumanji remake? It's not
That's
happening.
a good one.
I agree. I agree.
I get behind that, dude. I can get behind that actually because that's a character that is. You can't. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's even close. Like you can't. Like Robin Williams was his own.
I mean, I
entity, you know?
saw the Aladdin Broadway version, and it was a good time. But it wasn't the Aladdin that I love, and I am very impassioned about Aladdin. I care about my Aladdin, and so when I go in to see Aladdin, I expect Aladdin. And rest in peace, Robin Williams. That guy they got now is just not doing it.
Yeah.
He's just not doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know. I think he won a Tony, but like no, he wasn't good.
But there's
strong stance.
But I agree with you completely, and I immediately thought of Gene Wilder when you said that too. Where I was like, how can we replace Gene Wilder in anything ever again?
They tried it with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
I thought it was rad.
That
I
didn't
thought
go
that
so
film
hard.
was significantly different enough where it worked.
Yeah.
Like nobody was
was
trying to
its own-
replace
And it
Gene
wasn't
Wilder.
really-
It was like True Grit, the Coen Brothers remake of True Grit.
Yeah. They
Which
went
is-
against
I
the
didn't know they
direction of the
remade that.
original.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, John Wayne got all jingo with it, the original one, and so this is more true to the book. Yeah, that was a couple of years
John
ago.
Wayne is the
That was
Jeff
good.
Bridges character in the original.
exactly.
No, the conversation a
There's
lot
no clock
lately.
on my business.
Yeah.
The conversation a lot lately is
though. I
about
like
whether or
that.
not reboots are relevant. Are they good to do? Is this a bad idea?
Sure.
And then there are reboots that we all argue about, like Ghostbusters, because is that okay? I saw the reactions in the room. Because my big problem with it, whether it's funny or not, is it does feel a bit like pandering. And that
it
that
is.
bothers me creatively. It bothers me.
It's pandering to the international film market. I think we discussed it before, but in my opinion, the Hollywood is looking to open up to make more international money because they'll make international money on shit that just sucks, nationally, and to do that, you have to either have real base humor, fart jokes, which everyone will get, or just rebooting stuff that was already popular.
Why don't they reboot Beavis and Butthead? Damn it! If you're
They
gonna
did
do
for a little
one,
while.
They did.
They
no,
did.
They should do it now.
They did.
I see what you're saying. Like,
I want to see Monkey
Freakazoid.
dance again.
Freakazoid.
I know
Right now.
that's what this world is missing: the poignant commentary and political importance of Beavis and Butthead.
Freakazoid.
Freakazoid. Yeah, but the
They
problem
would never get away with those jokes.
Yeah, but the problem
now.
with Freakazoid is that'd be like rebooting Invader Zim right now. Is there's not enough? The fan base isn't big enough, even though the show.
I
They're
think
still-
the
they're still
Invader
young.
Zim fan base is big enough.
What for Freakazoid?
For Invader Zim, after it got canceled, it suddenly became like the most popular thing ever.
Like Kurt Cobain.
Exactly. He got canceled, and all of a sudden.
Oh, he was popular
He got
while he was
canceled.
alive.
Oh yeah, sure, but
Self-determination.
he's an icon.
He just maintained. He didn't get more popular
love
when
that.
he died.
Yes,
he
he
just
fucking did.
Yeah, he
maintained.
did.
He
Oh,
Okay, well then pick your
absolutely.
example.
More
Amy
popular
Winehouse.
after
How about that? Jim
You know
Morrison.
what?
How about that?
In a way,
Keep
Kurt
it coming.
Cobain. It's like if the guy from Nickelback died doing something heroic, and everyone would come
Everyone
out
just be
like,
surprised.
yeah, I liked them, blah blah
No,
blah.
that
when the
wouldn't
oth-
happen. That would not happen.
I'm
I don't
just
think
saying.
he would.
Here's what.
Kurt
I'm not
Cobain-
saying Kurt Cobain doesn't deserve his
Well, he
position as
ruined
an
music
icon.
for at least a decade. He set music back for a decade.
Yeah, but wouldn't you agree that every scene potentially does that? Like
No.
you start a grunge scene,
No.
you start a punk
What-
scene.
what-
What you really get is
what
you get a lot of
grunge
people all
did-
trying to sound like each
What
other.
grunge did is it took away our chance of getting signed. Fuck it. I want to be honest. It seriously did. Grunge was the type of music
It
that
didn't
like
take away from
it
anything.
made it a lottery. It wasn't a matter if you were good or not. It was
doesn't matter
coin
where you were
flip.
from.
If
They
the right
signed us
one
to
was
a band,
on
they
you
don't
at
let
the
it just
right
'cause
way,
they're-
Hold on. He just took it into an interesting. Wait a minute. When he started out, and I was like, whatever, and now he's like, no, I like where he went with that.
Bands like us,
Okay.
musicians like us that have paid our dues and gotten this fucking far without quitting, got signed back then. Period. Stop.
Come on.
So,
It's a true
My
story.
argument with you is
No,
gonna
but
be
so
so
you
did
did
different.
not
no, but
get
but
this
so
far.
no,
different than
he
that.
just said something.
And-
Fucking, he
No,
just
I
said something.
get what he's saying. I
What
understand
grunge
it.
did, what grunge did, it made it that any band, if they were seen at
I'm
the
gonna
right
make this.
time,
You know what grunge,
I'm gonna
grunge
make
kids
this
don't want
one
to hear?
sentence
Here's
for
what
you.
grunge,
Oh,
grunge
wait,
kids,
wait,
no, hold on a
time
minute.
out.
Grunge kids do not want to hear that grunge was just the new hair metal.
Yeah,
at the
I
time.
know. They don't want to hear anything.
but grunge
kids hate
killed
everything.
hair metal.
But one sentence.
That's-
took its
so,
place.
So when Kurt
No.
Cobain
It's the
died,
same kingdom.
Crushed it.
So when-
It crushed it for 10 years before they could go back on
When-
tour and be popular
when
again.
Kurt Cobain
They pulled
died,
it off, but there was like a drought.
But okay, go
when
ahead.
Kurt Cobain died and he couldn't argue with anybody anymore, and his music was now in the control of his wife and his ex-bandmates, Kurt Cobain became the first, well, not the first, but a pop
Our
star.
generations.
He became a pop star.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
He became a pop star.
A pop
He-
icon.
and he- a pop
A pop
icon.
icon.
Yes, very good.
Like
And
Michael
it
Jackson.
did, and it is true. Like, so I like,
Without
you know,
molesting the boys.
Without that.
like I respect his art and I respect
Possibly
what he was doing
molested
and
himself.
everything.
Hold on.
But that suicide era is
Tony's
really
dying to
open
say
to
something,
interpretation.
and then Will's done to
I
say
won't go
something.
that far, but Kurt Cobain spoke to the disenfranchised. And anytime you
Yes,
speak to the
yeah.
disenfranchised, you have the power to
Like Charles
fucking
Manson.
to turn the establishment on his head. And so whatever was going on at that point was already set in its ways. It was already the status quo. So people that were on the outside of that, and that's why these, like you're saying, you guys worked your asses off. Whatever, you should have been signed. I don't know exactly what you're saying. Should have been signed or could have been signed. But it is always a matter of time. But the dam's only going to hold so much water for it busts.
Yeah, and that goes.
It
Yeah.
goes with anything.
Well, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to question the value of actually getting signed at all.
Well, especially
question
these
the
days.
same value.
I'm just wondering. I'm not trying to be. Am I allowed to say dick? I'm not
You're
trying
allowed
to be.
to say
Yeah.
it.
I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but whenever somebody starts talking to me about getting signed, I'm just picturing Bill and Ted or something like that. Like, dude, we might have a chance of getting signed,
No.
man. And like, I'm like,
a dead ideal.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'd love to be approached with a shit ton of money and told, here, take this, run with it, see what you can do.
That
But at the
doesn't
same
exist
time,
anymore.
it doesn't
And at
exist
one
anymore.
point it
And I
did.
wouldn't
But
blame
that's a
Kurt
big
Cobain
thing.
for that not
It's been
happening
a
to
long
me.
time since that existed. Though.
And it's a bad thing that when it existed.
It's not really
because you're
Ball's fault. It was
pigeonholing
timing.
music. You're taking control of the entire industry by using money the same way you do with everything. And right now, I hear people bitch about hip hop and how much it sucks right now. And I'm like, where are you getting your hip hop from? Because the internet has opened the world up to all different types of hip hop. So like, you don't have to be a rock star anymore to be big, or be a rock star in like the way Britney Spears was a rock star, at the, back in the day. Like, you don't have to be that famous. You don't have to be that powerful anymore. You can actually be regionally popular and make a living. Like Immortal Technique. Immortal Technique's from Brooklyn, and he gives his albums away for free. Yet he tours, and like he's from New York, so that Northeast area he's got locked down. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like when you take that much money out of it, at least from certain
that's
hands,
success, dude.
then you open the doors up so that creativity becomes endless.
It's because it's individual entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Like it's an individual entity, like a band or something, taking responsibility for themselves and
Ludacris moved 10,000 units out of the trunk of his
like
fucking
before,
car.
like that
awesome.
wasn't that the big illusion, like the big rock and roll? Like, we're just gonna hang in a garage, and one day we're gonna get so awesome that somebody pays us, and we don't ever have to think forever. You know what I mean? Like, in my entire life, all I will have to do is hit my guitar,
but-
never have to be smart or take care of myself or do anything. I'm just going to be a rock star
I wanna
someday.
comment
And
on
now
that, too.
people are doing it by being successful, and they go out and they fucking make it happen. They don't wait for somebody to come and do it for them.
Absolutely, and that's what I was gonna say too. Is I was gonna say that with the internet and now, like, it's not only about the fact that it's not only about just being in charge of yourself, but people are educating themselves more in the business end, and they are able to franchise themselves now, which has sort of opened up a lot of doors.
Well,
You look like you wanted to say something.
I don't have much to say.
I'm sorry. I thought I cut you
No,
off.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
you mentioned Immortal Technique.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's also the type of guy that's not gonna get huge, like blow up huge.
Ever, yeah.
I
I
know a
don't
lot of
think the
guys
option's
the
really
guys
there.
that I know who like write their own rhymes, and the guys who are
Right.
really into it. Those are the guys that listen to him. From the people I spoke to, he's kind of like a rapper's rapper. He's like one of those where a lot of really popular rap music, the content isn't as specific.
Right.
It's a little bit
I
more
understand
of
what you
a
mean.
party vibe.
Yeah. Sure.
It's that sort of deal.
not as niche.
So
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
But let me say something about Mortal Technique though. His first album, he did I think 30,000 copies out of his car. And now you got to imagine he was selling those, so $10 a copy, he pocketed $300,000 that he didn't owe to a record label or anybody. So like, even when you're signed and you get a good deal, it's rare that you would get a deal that would land you even $300,000 the first time around. So I don't know how to gauge success right now in the art world very well, because I feel like we grew up with rock stars
Sustainability.
and rock stars. It's cool. It's good to be popular and it's good to reach an audience, but is it good to be like a Pepsi brand rock star? Like you need to do that.
Yeah.
Is it
If
good
you want to
for
pay your
who?
mortgage,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And who's it good for?
Yeah.
How do we gauge this?
No, we had that conversation, and that's what we had that conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I was just like, well, if your whole mission was to sell out, then it's impossible for you to be considered a sellout. Ever.
That is interesting.
If you
logic.
started a band, and your whole fucking purpose for starting that band was, I'm going to make as much fucking money as I can, and I will do whatever I have to do to get it, and you do, how are you a sellout?
You haven't compromised anything.
You didn't compromise anything.
Right.
You took your
You
mission
turned
all the
selling out
way.
into
You know
a
what I mean?
cause.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just, who are you selling yourself to? That's the thing. If you're selling yourself as a purist or an artist or anything like that, like, I think there are certain artists out there. I don't want to throw any genre on the hot seat.
No,
or anything,
I wouldn't either. Because
But
there's good and everything.
there are a lot of artists out there that are all shtick and that's it. It's all pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
Like, you go and see their shit, and that's what it is. It's about getting people who don't really listen to music to come and hang out and spend $20 a beer at the fucking Metroplex with you and 10 other fucking bands.
Yeah, right.
And that's really it. It's just, hey, we go
different.
out, we do the bare
And it's
minimum.
changed.
We hang out there, and then there are other art forms out there that take it more seriously,
Sure.
and it's an artistic expression.
I feel,
Go ahead, Tony.
I feel that if over time you're not alienating some of your audience at some level, you're not progressing. And whether that, that tends to have some people say you're selling out. But, look at Joe Jackson or Elvis Costello, man. Every record's different,
Yeah.
So, saying somebody's selling out is always a difficult, as we found out a couple weeks ago, is always a difficult place to put the finger. But I don't think that many people who think it through that are intelligent think they're going to go into music and make a shitload of money. But they might think they're going to get a shitload of pussy, all right? That might be popular around town. But anybody who's going into music thinking they're going to make a shitload of money and be able to stay true to their... It's like writing a script and expecting this tender story not to turn into an alien fucking extravaganza with fucking spaceships blowing shit up.
Sure. Hold on.
Difficult
Will Wood, you wanted to say something.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. Go ahead.
It's a difficult cross section because people change. People always change. Like for you as the artist, from day one to the final day that you do it, you're going to change. Like you're not going to do it the same way over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Like, and at the same time, on the other side of the fucking barrier, your crowd is going to change. They're going to change over time. It's I mean, there's no way to do the same. Like you have to change. You have to.
And sometimes your evolution.
Is it change for the sake of your own personal growth, or are you changing because someone said you have to censor this, this, and this, and change these lines to this, and then we'll sell 1 million of them?
Well, who's to say that's not a form of personal growth?
It's like implying versus inferring.
That's fair enough. It's a fair enough.
I'll tell you, you guys are talking about Hawk and Pepsi. If Pepsi came up to me and said, "Hey, listen, I'll give you $100,000 to hold up a Pepsi can next time you're on stage," I'd start guzzling that shit down left and right. Are you fucking kidding me? You guys gotta make a fucking living. I deserve a sponsorship.
You gotta exercise on that one though, because that's gonna.
Would you change your music to do it?
Would I change my music to do it?
That's the question.
Hawk and
Pepsi,
I would
If
Hawk and Pepsi out of
my
mind.
band and we're just like, love everything you guys are doing. Want to sell Pepsi? I'd be like, fuck yeah, I want to sell Pepsi. It's delicious. Why the fuck not? But if they were like, we think you guys are too rough around the
I would only do Coke if I could make
Let him finish.
If you listen to my music, you know that consistency and integrity are not my shtick.
I disagree.
You listen to my first record. Every single song on there is a different style. It's a different genre. It's a different take on a different trope.
Good.
Yeah. Well, my point being that like changing my music, I can't not do that. So yeah, bring it on. I'll change whatever I got to change. If I
But
gotta
are you
make
gonna
a
let
living
someone
somehow.
else shape you?
Let someone else shape me. People already shape me. I live in a world influenced by other people. I only exist due to impressions I make on other people.
Here's a case study though. I know a few people that were signed, and when they were signed, all of a sudden in the studio, they had guys go, "Hey man, it's 45 seconds. Where's the chorus?" At that point, whereas somebody who loves to create music are going to say, "Fuck you." And I know a bunch of people that were signed and just went back and doing their original thing. Again, but I also feel the same way as somebody takes your song and sells trucks with it, and people get pissed off. Well, maybe they overvalued the song to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Again, it all comes down to what you're saying. Personal taste is like implying versus inferring. I can only infer. I can't tell you where you're really coming from. So when you start making those judgments, man, it's kind of a precarious.
It becomes a paradox.
Yeah.
When it comes to success, there are two things I know. You gotta fail to learn to succeed, for one, and the other thing is if you're not pissing someone off, you're probably doing it all wrong. You're gonna piss somebody off, and you gotta just deal with it. If you let it bother you that person's pissed off by what you're doing, that's when you sell out.
I agree.
Pissing people off is great. It's punk rock as hell. And you want to know what would really piss our fans off? If we sold out.
In
In that sense, No, I agree with you. I agree with you big time, John. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's anything more punk rock to this day now than selling out. Because everywhere you go, people say, "Don't sell out. Gotta have integrity. Don't sell out. Don't let people change you, man. And fuck you. I'll do what I want." You know.
We gotta make a commercial with these guys where they just announce themselves for the NFL draft. We've decided to come off the bench. We're entering into the NFL draft.
Look, when I say all this, I don't mean that like I would intentionally change the way I approach my musicianship just to make Of course, I mean I have done that already.
Yeah.
My intentions in writing unusual music is partially, yes, it's honest for me. That's how I feel on a day-to-day basis. But also, just I know what, it's about reaching out to your audience and saying, hey, what do you want to hear? As much as it is reaching into yourself and saying, what do I want to play?
Sure.
Yeah, you have to make a connection. You have to live in the world that you're living in. And so when I say, fucking give me your goddamn money, I don't care what I got to do. What I am saying that, but also you take it with a grain of salt because I do care about what I play. I think people will, if you have a strong message, then people will want to hear it. without you having to compromise your own integrity as an artist.
I like you.
Yes.
Let him go first, and then I'll
wait.
go to you, because he was trying a minute ago.
If Tapeface had a voice, it's you. And if anyone who doesn't know who Tapeface is, fuck you guys. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Tony.
Fuck me, man. I don't know.
I don't know what Tapeface is.
We gotta look that up.
I think the most powerful art or anything that can change things speaks to the disenfranchised. And then when you change, when people when you save people with what you do, and then you pander to making money, people are gonna get pissed off. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people regret that. They, you see stuff all the time, stories about people who used to do something and are lonely for what they are hungry for what they used to do. You know what I'm saying?
I know who you're talking about. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what's funny is it was something about what you said reminded me. Yeah, we got it over here. That's it. That's the one. Yeah. We all see it.
It was a tape face.
Come on.
What I was gonna say was something about what you said.
So it's only
He was
helpful.
excellent, dude.
Amazing.
Something about what you said made me think about Cory Feldman's recent performance. People are giving him a lot of shit, and I kind of feel bad for him.
What was his
Yeah.
to the core.
Did
I
you
felt
watch
bad
it?
for
He
Cory
did see
Feldman,
it.
like
put
10
out
years
a
ago.
message
listened
the
to the
other
whole
day
album.
saying that
Yeah.
him and his band were actually
So you guys
scared
don't have
to leave
to.
their homes.
Yeah, they're
because
scared to leave
the
the house.
reaction was so awful that he can't
What did
stand
he
it,
do
and
that
he's
was,
so.
He performed in the Today Show,
heartbroken.
and he was dressed like Assassin's Creed, and he had
not really. He
girls
just had
in
a hooded.
he had girls in angel wings that were playing all the instruments, and it was dubsteppy, R&B-ish, rockish stuff, and then everybody's fucking making fun of him.
Did he
And I'm
moonwalk?
No. Did he moonwalk? He did. He did some moves.
He did the dab into.
I gotta
the
say,
very
his
end,
hair looks
into
great.
All the recycled manufactured moves.
Pointing at him.
I think
Yeah.
he has one.
Do you have one?
What, a camera?
I think that people are blowing.
I got a camera.
blowing
Oh,
that.
no.
What do you mean? Taking it out of proportion?
Whether or not you like the performance, even if you hate it, I don't believe you if you say, oh my god, that was the most embarrassing, worst fucking thing I've ever seen on TV. I don't
Yeah.
believe that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
Go to
because
Cory
of who he
Feldman's
is that
house and
people
wait
are
in front of him.
making.
Yeah, right.
People are reacting to who he is doing that.
That's
Not
what I
the-
think, too.
and that's it.
Ever seen that fucking Robin Thicke video with T.I. with the girls with their titties all hanging out? That's the worst performance and worst piece of shit song ever created in the history of man fucking kind. And the only reason it got any attention was because there were hot girls with their titties hanging out. And I watched that and I was next to Cory Feldman's performance was fucking genius compared to what the fuck
Well,
Robin
Cory
Thicke
Feldman
did.
did a great job subverting any aesthetic standards we had for music in the first place.
Yeah.
And by that I mean it sounded like shit.
Yeah, it's okay though.
I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like that Robin Thicke song, but I'm not allowed to
Blurred
say that in
Lines?
public.
We're talking
because-
about Blurred Lines.
Yeah, we're
right?
talking
The
about
song
Blurred
with-
Lines.
The song
That's just
Pharrell.
gonna blow up.
I like a lot of
It's like
shitty
a
music.
I think that's
and
a good song.
It's a
You know,
catchy song, is what
that's,
it is.
you know-
It's like a jingle.
Well,
It's-
so
it's
what is good music? Is something that's catchy, something that moves you? I mean, that's the thing. It's all personal.
I don't know. Is there depth to
Can it
emotion,
do
Tony
both?
Tedesco?
I want both.
Depth through emotion.
Is there
I want it
depth
to
to
be
emotion?
catchy.
And if music speaks to emotion, then can it go certain depths?
Some music definitely goes to your ass.
Because I feel like...
But no, it's
That's what I
dude,
think.
that's I always think about that too. It's a life soundtrack. You know what I mean? You don't want to listen to the same shit all the
I
time.
wanna hold your
the
hand
same
and
way all the time.
imagine.
I'm dude, sometimes I'm at work. One of my favorite times. I work with this guy. And he'll just bust out his phone and he'll go through Pandora and pick random channels, dude. And the other day, I was at work, up on a fucking roof all day listening to old Motown.
I do
You know what I mean? And it was the greatest fucking 4 hours, just up there before our break, just hanging on this roof listening to fucking Temptations and it was just over and over, just songs you forgot about because you haven't listened to them in a while, and it's just that's not very punk rock, but I was and then some days he puts on random fucking horse shit, and half the songs I can't stand, but I'm sitting there listening, just kind of
Because I think eventually...
sometimes you need stupid
I
music.
agree with
Sometimes
you.
you need dumb shit to listen to,
but sometimes the ideals of what punk rock is supposed to stand for are more
Did you
important
just
than punk
roofie
rock
me?
themselves.
Dude, don't forget, punk rock started as a fashion statement in Malcolm McLaren's fucking
Because that's totally
dress
cool.
shop. Or
Right.
whatever his fucking,
But
his,
what
his
is it-
hair, his hair salon.
But what has it evolved into? You know what I mean? Like to me, it represents the art representing the self 100%, whatever you say. So even if you decide to sell out and selling out is good for you, that was your decision. And that's why I think, even though the statement is funny. This,
I don't know,
it's still
It's
right.
the way that makes it punk.
Is it just
Maybe
wrong
it's
that
the
I
way
don't
the
want to work
opposite. I
anymore?
love working.
the-
I
the
love doing
notion that-
things.
the
I don't have
notion-
to stay busy.
I think that the notion of selling out is inherently flawed in the first place, except for Maroon 5. That's it. I'm serious. It's not a popular opinion to say Maroon 5 was amazing, but Maroon 5 was amazing.
That first record was
That
fucking
first
bullshit.
record is
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it was.
I felt the
That's-
same thing about
Dude,
Sugar Ray.
I played in a hardcore band called Karmicide, and the guitar player was like, he's into like the fucking gnarliest shredders and just like, you know, like black metal, death metal, like all kinds of like hardcore bands, Misery Signals, all of this. And he heard the Maroon 5 album, and he was just like, this is one of the greatest fucking things I've ever heard in my life.
Songs
like,
about Jane is
and
beautiful.
I would rag on him, you know, I'm just like, what? That really? Like this? And he's just like, dude, fuck you. This is brilliant. You know?
It really is. Harmonically,
From
from a songwriting standpoint, from an
Yeah.
instrumentalist standpoint, Songs About Jane
Production.
is truly, production. It's truly, it's a genius
No, I
fucking
agree. I
album.
agree.
Some of the lyrics are a little bit hackneyed, but you know what? It's a coin toss. Honestly,
when
I think
you
it's
have
a
the music to back it up,
and
it's
even
okay,
then, there's something
especially,
there is something kind of sweet and sentimental even about that kind of played out. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's an innocence, a naivety to the sort of
Romance, you know?
yeah, there is, and
Yeah.
but I would say that the only band that I've ever listened to where I truly got angry and thought this fucking sellout, Adam Levine and his micro penis. I fucking biggest, honestly, the only true sellout that I really fucking hate is Maroon 5 because the music they're releasing now is some of the biggest goddamn garbage.
Oh
I've ever
yeah, that
fucking
way.
listened
What qualifies it as garbage?
I don't like it.
Really?
I
gotta
take
all
the
the
side of the
things-
coin. I like that.
All the
Got me in
things that
trouble last
made
time.
them, all the things that got them famous, that made them interested. Lots of motherfuckers can sing,
Sure.
but one of the aspects of them was the band. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
right,
that
right.
they could play, that they were decent.
Do they even
were
have
good
a band
musicians.
anymore, or is it
And
just
then-
Adam Levine and a
so
drum
So they
machine?
took the
Drum
one
machine, yeah.
thing that separated them from the pack and threw it out the window.
I think I would like it better if it were Adam Levine and a drum machine. At least then I could say, wow, he
that is
programmed all
such a
this.
great
himself.
name.
Adam Levine
Adam
and a
Levine
drum
drum machine.
That sounds good. I'm gonna get
Adam
that.
Machine.
Mr.
Drum
Megorium's
machine.
Wonder
That's
Emporium.
perfect.
Oh, the chat room, something cast said, less money and sustainability is better than more money and flavor of the day. And then Justin Esquivel
What
said,
if the flavor of the day is really good?
what if the flavor of the day is really
What if
good?
it's chocolate?
Pomegranate.
Oh,
Ecstasy.
no. Pomegranate.
But dude, how often is the flavor of the day good? Like right now, everyone's
Well,
talking
you-
about
you-
mumble rap.
Usually when that first band breaks through, you know what I'm saying? When when Nirvana came along, all right. Or,
There shouldn't have been
Guns
no
N'
more grunge
Roses-
bands after that.
Guns N' Roses.
That would've been the right thing to
Anybody
do.
that comes and challenges
Soundgarden.
the status quo.
Soundgarden's
becomes
not
popular.
grunge. That's a bullshit statement. That's like saying that Alice in Chains is grunge too. They weren't. They were just from Seattle. And back then when you had to put a CD on a shelf, you had to be able to say what shelf it was going to go on. And they said everybody here from Seattle is all grunge. There's no way that Nirvana, Zeke,
Actually,
Sonic
they
Youth,
all are
Soundgarden,
grunge. Nirvana was grunge.
they're completely
punk.
different kinds of music.
They were grunge punk.
They're produced.
Labels
they're
are
the same
ridiculous once you've heard a band. Number one,
I
think.
agree completely.
You know, and it helps if you want to give somebody a general idea. But once somebody's experienced something that's good, it's not formulaic. All right, it's not trying to follow a certain thing. It putting labels out there is ridiculous. Fortunately, record stores need to do it, and I think that's what you're saying.
Too bad record stores aren't really much.
Yeah, I was
of a
gonna say
thing.
record doors.
I'm
stores
don't
don't need much.
an old
actually
fucking man,
exist.
so I still remember Sam Goody.
You want to know what getting signed is now? Getting one of your tracks on a soundtrack to a fucking movie. That's it.
But I
There you
think
go.
Musicians do that without getting a.
I was gonna
record
just say
label,
that.
yeah.
I was gonna say that, like,
Yeah,
if
no,
you're
no, no.
business
I'm
savvy
saying,
and
like-
you know how to follow
I know
through
what
with
you're
what you do, you don't even have to do that anymore. So like, everything is so attainable personally now.
It's still all about who you know, and the record labels give you connections. My buddy had a great band, but he thought he could.
Yeah.
He thought he could do everything himself. I'm like, dude, you need a manager and you need an agent if you really want to break through the next level. And these people who play, Jimmy Fallon, Tonight
Yeah,
Show,
right.
that whole circuit,
Okay,
whatever,
I see.
they
Yeah, I know what
they
you
have a machine behind them. And it's about who you know, because now since everybody does it, everybody's getting a shitload of fucking material, and they have to know where to sift through.
Right.
And so when you come in with somebody who's got connections, it makes it easier to break through to the next level.
John, were you agreeing with him when he said that, or
Yeah.
that was about who you know?
Oh, yeah, it is absolutely.
You have to be able to back it up as well, of course.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you everybody knows somebody, and that person is just not talented, and that person that they know wants nothing to do with them. But if you
Right.
happen to be a talented individual and you know somebody, then you guess. Actually, no, that's not true at all, because some people are just fucking hacks.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's
I
people
revoke my
chasing
statement.
the
No, but-
dragon.
but I can
and,
say-
you know, and you know, they wear it on their sleeve. They're changing
Yeah.
direction. Trying to follow the fucking what's the popular current. You know?
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And
sure.
more power to them if they make their money and whatever. But it's hard to take them seriously or be interested in what they have to do next because you've already heard it a million
Sure,
times.
sure.
For me personally, I'm speaking.
What were you gonna say? Will?
Oh, I was just pointing out, like, I'd say like a good 50% of my career as a musician, independently and with the Tapeworms, is due to John knowing people. Like John is the king of emails, as we like to say.
He has everyone's email.
He works the studio, and he's a fantastic
you said
engineer, and
Right,
he's
right.
worked with some people who have gotten involved in some really great projects. And
Sure.
because of his ability to kind of just like connect with people and network in ways that I'm not too great at, it really helps a lot. People say like it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Like, well, I mean, you got to know something too in addition to knowing people, but like
Right.
obviously you cannot devalue interpersonal relationships when it comes down to expanding any kind of career.
And balls. They're taking risks.
Balls are important.
Reaching out to somebody who might be that might.
No, I was gonna say it's interesting that you said that it's also who you know, man. Because you're right, dude. Because like when I look at a band like Die Antwoord and Die Antwoord grows the way that it does, and it ends up on like late night talk shows and shit like that, like that's a totally different kind of growth. But
that was a grassroots thing, man. I think that
that's
those
what I'm
videos,
saying.
that
That's what I'm
was
saying.
performance.
But there's still an importance to how and who through which they were able to network
Oh, sure.
to be able to coordinate
You-
something
you-
like
you-
that. Because that's not Sony doing that anymore.
No, fuck no. There's somebody going, wow, this.
I mean, Sony's got their hand in a lot of fucking shit, no doubt. But like, they're not integral like they used to be. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like they're not.
You want to keep your doors open this day and age in your record company. You gotta short your integrity a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's about like Will said. You got to know what your audience wants as well. You don't have to necessarily pander to them, but you got to keep it in mind.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
want,
if you respect them, you
right?
do.
If you want to still have a two-way communication with them,
That audience is only going to change over
Yeah.
time. though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
of course,
what
of course.
happened to the record industry. It started out admirably enough. Like, hey, we're gonna bring music to people. We're going to, we're gonna try and pick out the people. Like, there's a sea of artists. We have to pick the best ones. And that went from there's a sea of artists. We have to manufacture the best ones. You know what I mean? Like, it went from finding talent to creating talent that you could control cheaply.
The internet's
You know what I
totally
mean?
squeezing that out right now.
And it's dying. It's done. Dude, that was one of my favorite
Yeah.
fucking punk songs ever with No Effects. Dinosaurs Will Die. You know what I mean? Like, that shit, it was very prophetic when it was written. And it was all about the record industry. And they're just like, dude, this shit is on the way out. Watch it. Enjoy it while it burns. Wave your hands.
I'm
It
just
is
very
very
What
happy
did you
hot.
say
that
about the internet?
What was that?
Well, you started saying something about the internet.
Oh, the internet just totally squeezed that out.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
because of the internet, I get to live in the time that I get to see the record industry just crash and burn
Yeah, that
and
sucks.
die with its pants around
No,
its ankles.
yeah, I'm sorry
But
about
then
that.
What comes after that? Like after
But
the
no,
internet,
it will.
like-
What comes after that is I think that what the internet's done for all art, not just music, but everything, is that it's returned, I think, control back to the
Right,
creator.
because what's
Or
going to
the
happen?
potential for more
It's going to end up crashing and burning, like you said, and then only the people that are truly want to do it, like they did, because it used to be to be a musician was a terrible fucking thing, man.
Yeah.
You had to really want to do that fucking shit, man, and that's where this all grew out. Passion and speak again. I hate to keep on bad, but speaking of disenfranchised, why Christianity, why Christ was so big. He wasn't talking to the Pharisees; he was talking to hookers and fucking lepers.
Right.
You know?
Can I also say something else though? There is something weird about how the underground has become what it has become, because what you start to see, because you keep talking about it's who you know, like who you know helps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's definitely not
And
wrong,
we made
for sure.
connections all through that, right? So like, when you look at the way the underground is growing and the way that the power is returning back to the artist, you're also seeing all these new networks start to build, all these underground companies, and you're watching sort of the same thing that happened before from its roots start up again. And it's like, is this gonna grow so big that it crumbles like the record companies did
It's
before,
cyclical.
or
It's-
is this gonna? Is it cyclical?
That's what I was just gonna say, was that that the whole thing is like it's repeating itself. It's just a system. It's a cycle. You know what I mean? Now instead of the power grew too large and it was controlled by too few.
Right.
And when people got pissed off by being told what to do by the same four dudes, they fucking abandoned the entity.
Agreed.
They went to the internet and now they're redistributing the power to other people who are like now, like okay, now instead of working for a record label, he can work for himself. He can go harvest his own talent because it's everywhere. It's all over. There's bands everywhere. Like now he can go out there and start his own little thing, and as long as he's got an internet connection, he has a chance of sustainability. You know what I mean?
Like I've said a million times, talking about politics or whatever, the power paradigm has settled into this pyramid-shaped thing. Changing the capstone is going to make a difference. You change everything at a local level. Then what happens, though, just like we see, eventually they cycle up to the capstone and it's time to recycle again on the bottom. Like Jefferson and Franklin said, you have to have revolution every once in a while to keep blood fresh.
Absolutely.
So, but that's what I think is what's going to happen. What's going to happen and what's actually happening now. People are making all these connections locally with their friends. Touring bands are coming through, and they're crashing on your couch. You're going through their town. They know that it's up to you to help bring fucking people out to see them when you're going to tour, that they're going to bring people out to see you, and you don't need the overhead as much as you maybe did in the past. But also things are pretty lean these days. It's famine, if you will.
Sure. Over here. Anything anybody want to add to that?
I think I have a fever. I'm having a lot of trouble following.
Yeah, it's bouncing around. It's bouncing around. What about you? Anything else?
Oh my God, I want to go back to the first thing you said when you opened up the show tonight.
What did I say?
The remake deal.
Okay.
I want to say that I love 21 and 22 Jump Street, and I hate you if you don't agree with me. And I am scared of Pete's Dragon.
I ain't gonna watch that shit.
How could you do that?
I don't know what that is.
Pete's Dragon?
Pete's Dragon?
Pete's
You never
Dragon?
seen Pete's fucking Dragon?
Oh,
No.
Pete's Dragon. Okay.
Pete's
Yeah,
Dragon?
I heard Pete's Dragon.
I heard
also
Pete's
He
Dragon.
thought he was talking about a loose vagina.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Pete's Dragon.
Pete's Dragon.
My bad reputation gets me all the time.
Look, I think a reboot works though if you have.
I'm scared. It was a cartoon before.
It
What
works.
is it now, live action? What are they doing?
Well, no,
No,
it
it's
was
real.
live
Real.
action, but the
It was
dragon
real.
was a cartoon. He was animated.
If Robin Williams
And it
is
was
in
a
it, it's fair
musical.
game.
Yeah.
And they're making
Yeah.
one now that looks more like the Jungle Book remake. You know what I mean? And it's
But
not,
they did
what?
really. I didn't see it.
Oh, no, I want to see it. Yeah, my wife said she loved it. Oh,
Can I go back to music for just a second?
Sure.
One of the headlines that I had here said, I went to see Garbage and it didn't feel like a throwback. And I wanted to talk a little bit about when I went to Convention Hall recently, and they had all these like fucking '90s bands up that are coming through, like Bush and Chevelle are like touring together and all this shit. And I look at shit like that, and I go, some of that is coming across as a novelty now. Whereas it's not coming, so it's like when a musician can reinvent themselves and do something different all the time and something new all the time, I feel like you can remain relevant in a way now that you couldn't in the past. It used to be you were part of a team. Like if you were from the 70s, you were from the 70s. If you were from the 80s, you were from the 80s. But right now, if you're making music, as long as you continue to make new music and continue to change and grow, I feel like you can remain relevant now for a lot longer.
I like both Bush and Chevelle.
I'm not saying I don't like them. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. But I'm saying that we are looking at like 90s.
When are they playing?
Are you saying that people
Oh.
from maybe like the 80s and 90s are like banking on like the group of bands that they came up with? Is
It's the
that
same
what
thing the
they're-
rebooted
They're
movies are doing
they're
that we're
circling
talking
the
about.
wagons. They're
Yeah.
getting together.
Yeah,
They're
right
riding
now.
out a little bit.
Like right now, I think for Bush to tour right now, you're looking at sort of a novelty. It's like,
So-
look,
Well, no,
look,
you're
these
looking
90s
at a
movies-
target
You're
demographic.
looking at a demographic
Honestly?
that has expendable income.
Right.
Yeah.
Those people
You're
are not
looking at
growing
a
up.
target
Okay, yeah,
demographic.
yeah,
And so the kids.
Why slug
Hold
it?
on.
Why slug it in the
There was
fucking
a-
bars
there was
for
a
a couple
negative
bucks
to
when
Bush
you can
for a
do a
million
stadium
years.
tour? You
A
know?
what?
For a million years, Bush got a negative rap because Gavin couldn't play guitar and sing. Well, he's been doing it for like 30 years in the same band. And it's the same fucking songs. Guess what? He can do it now. So fuck everyone. They're awesome now.
He
And
practiced.
he totally practiced.
But my point
We'll
is,
work this on the fly. We'll
my
make
point is,
lemonade.
there's more potential to stay relevant now. But maybe the relevance was always there.
No,
I
yeah,
think
look
Trent
at Dylan
Reznor's
now.
still
I think that was
relevant.
always there. Yeah, look at Joe.
Trent
Look
Reznor.
at
Look
the
at
look at the
Whoa,
Eagles.
hold on,
They'll
go ahead.
freeze over, you know, like look
Nine
at
Inch Nails. Trent Reznor.
I think that he's been able to stay relevant through. One of you said it before about I think it was Mayhem. You said it about doing music for like movies and trying to create music to accompany videos.
I'm an emotional
pictures and-
person. And movies, like, they want that song that's like, ah!
Trent
Well,
that
that's it.
emotion,
He
like
did
I
it
can write
for
that
the girl
emotion
with the dragon
at all
tattoo.
times.
Right.
He did it for the Social Network brilliantly.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, great soundtrack.
And there are guys like that who, like, if you're really creative, and he helped spark just like this whole, that industrial sort of like electronic
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of sound.
he was the
invented
patriarch,
that.
yeah.
So he's been able to take that, and then with all the new technology that just helps you create that type of music, he's been able to take that into new areas, and he's been able to maintain a degree of success without doing the whole like, oh, this is a throwback, rebranding himself as like this sort of nostalgic show that you can come and see. People are going to see him for, oh, what's the new stuff that Trent Reznor is coming out with, rather than just saying like, I want to see what he used to do.
Because he's a creator. He doesn't have to pander. He got where he was by being so much different than everybody else.
Go ahead, Tony.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's how he got there. And that's the only thing that people want from him. It's just, please give me something to cleanse my palate.
Yeah,
Please,
right.
Trent.
There's gonna be
I
always
got something for you.
There's gonna always be some certain percentage of people that are popular that are truly artists and creating. Artists do what they do to be great every day, not to their goal usually is to be able to outdo themselves. So you got people like Bob Dylan or Trent, or there's few of them. So that there's at any given thing, there's always a percentage that are going to do that.
Sure.
So
I want to mention, like, I agree with that sentiment entirely. When I was saying earlier, throw the money at me, please. I wouldn't be happy doing that, and no artist would be.
Right.
And I think what's allowed Trent Reznor to stay relevant, and I think groups like I don't care for their new record, but Radiohead is a good example of it. Is the fact that they haven't relied on writing a catchy song. They haven't relied on any of that. What they have always done is they have pitched themselves and then fulfilled that expectation of being an experimental and explorative sort of artist. Yeah. So had Trent Reznor kept playing the same kind of thing, I don't think he would have maintained relevance.
You know what?
But since Reznor has gone out of his way to explore different avenues of creativity, release albums without any vocals, release material that is just like really ethereal and ambient, while his other stuff is just ripping and tearing and screaming and gnashing teeth. He really expands a lot, and I think that's what really keeps him relevant, is the fact that he doesn't stay the same.
You know what's funny?
Which is why I think you can commend an artist for changing.
Hold on.
Well, the evolution.
Trent Reznor once said about Radiohead, when Creep came out, because you're talking about how they didn't rely on a catchy song or whatever, but Creep was like a big radio hit. And Trent Reznor had said that when he heard Creep, he was like, oh, there's their one hit, they're gone. And then when OK Computer came out, he went, okay, they're relevant. I agree with this. You know what I mean? I read that. You read the same thing?
Did you ever notice, too, with Trent, though, like, it's like this Pretty Hate Machine and Downward Spiral and a whole bunch of B-sides and everything, but that was like the industrial stint, you know what I mean? Like, that was like the early industrial
period.
And he got away from that.
No, but why? Because everybody else was doing the same thing. He spawned an entire, now you got a million other fucking overnight fucking bands that are literally doing the sound. Carbon fucking copied. So what did he do? He does the Fragile, which is an acoustic equivalent of the same thought process. Instead of using processors and things, he was using strings, woodwinds, and keyboards and pianos.
Can I tell you something weird?
And it was just like he kept his idea, but he was like, well, if you guys are gonna play with my toys, I'm gonna find something else to do. You know, and he was never afraid to just separate from the pack and be like, fuck, that's boring.
I read this. Trent Reznor, at the end of Pantera, when they were falling apart, they rarely recorded in the same studio.
Yeah.
And Phil was originally from New Orleans.
Yeah.
And, the rest of them were in Texas, right? So I think it was like the last album, and they needed vocal tracks done. So they sent him to the best studio in New Orleans. So he went to Trent's studio.
Yeah, nothing.
And you got Phil Anselmo from Pantera singing in Trent Reznor's studio with Trent Reznor recording. I would have loved to hear the conversation that took place between Phil Anselmo and Trent because Phil Anselmo, love or hate him, and there's reasons for both.
It was probably like, hey, Trent, I'll suck your dick for dope money.
Yeah. But still, you're looking at a guy. You're looking at. I think Phil would have appreciated it.
Yeah, I think he would have.
I feel like Phil has got such a massive world of experience, and so does Trent, and have two of these guys who have been living in studios practically their whole lives, making things as big as they made in their whole lives. And now one is in Trent Reznor's studio, who might be arguably one of the greatest producers of all time. I mean, the guy knows sound, and he knows recording sound, even if we're not talking about music he made himself, or music he records for other people. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you listen to Broken now, the way those guitars are like razors, the way they come through, that could have come out more recently, and you'd still believe it.
I love Broken is one of my, probably my all-time favorite Nine Inch Nails. I love Broken. That is a great one.
But underneath all of it,
it's like a little moment in time that just popped up and disappeared.
It's
and
a heavy moment.
Blistering, yeah.
You know.
What are you saying, John?
I was saying, like, underneath all of the early Trent Reznor stuff, like, he could write a pop song.
Yeah.
Those songs were.
Oh,
like,
yeah, he had
industrial,
skills.
heavy.
Yeah. Like a whole.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's like a.
Right.
I played it for my wife who hadn't heard that song in probably 20 years. And she's like, he could write, this is pop music.
And then other songs like All the Love in the World.
Yeah.
That's a pop song.
Yeah.
But it's got
Absolutely.
his
It's got an
flavor.
edge
I
to
think
it.
Animal done as acapella, like everyone. I wanna fuck you like an animal.
I think
Whereas
I'm
there's
sorry.
the Come Closer Together, the Beatles mashup.
Oh,
That's a very
I
good
gotta
one.
hear that.
That is amazing.
Have you ever
that's a
heard
very good
the in the
mashup.
club,
That's a good
the
mashup.
Closer and what's his name?
50 Cent.
50 Cent. 50
Cent.
Cent.
Really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have not heard that.
Oh, that's dope. That's a
Wow.
dope mashup.
See, I think Trent is the type of guy, and most of these guys that we're talking about that evolved would be doing this whether he was famous or not. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's an important point.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Because
Point.
Yeah.
Good perk.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
That's an important
I think
point,
he
dude, yeah.
transcends. He's one of those dudes who transcends a lot of that shit. Just
That was a Trump.
like
burn.
people, that name commands respect to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Love him or hate him, like people want to work with him. Like,
How many
from all
musicians in here,
genres,
if
you know?
you didn't have an audience and nobody was listening, would you still make music?
Yeah.
Most of the times I prefer.
Yeah, I did. I have.
Yeah, most times
I've never had
I
an
cut out of
audience.
so many gigs on my way to so many gigs, solo gigs, just go home and play in my bedroom because I was like, fuck this, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Dude, my favorite thing when we fucking like busted out the big time. The first thing I did was go in my house, open up my fucking laptop, scrap every idea that I ever used with our band, and just like, all right, here we go, you know, and just started writing shit. And I mean, like 2 fucking CDs worth of music, and then started finding other people to make music with, and then, you know, like oh yeah, dude, I just enjoy the process of, you know, I couldn't live without it, you know.
Go ahead.
You know, I think that's actually a really interesting question when you ask, would you do it without an audience? Because, you know, usually, you know, somebody asks a question about music and I'm ready with something. I got like, fuck all that. I got an answer. Fuck you guys. I got the right answer too. But that's actually really, really, really tough for me to answer because...
You influenced that question, by the way.
Because, well, why? Because I don't have much of an audience?
No, not why. No, because I read the
Will Wood,
interview.
why are you still doing this?
I read the interview you did with NewJersey.com.
Oh, Jesus
And they
Christ.
asked you about your music,
somebody
and
read it.
you had said something about how the audience receives it and the way you deliver it, and that's what made me think, would you do it without? And we got a lot of musicians in the bar, so
I think my answer would be no. As much as I want to say, I have a passion for creation and like, I'm moved by the process of artistic inspiration. The truth of the matter is, I wouldn't want to fucking do it if nobody was listening. Are you kidding me? That shit's hard. You know,
Let's define an audience. Are you talking
Okay.
10,000 people or are you talking 10 people?
10 people's enough. I'll do it for 10 people.
Exactly, and that's what I was. When you
But
said, when you
2
said,
is where I get drunk and say,
Well,
fuck
well,
this
well,
shit.
2 is when it's
dude,
embarrassing.
when you say
That's where I
you know,
lose a
an
piercing
audience,
in
with
Detroit.
no audience, you know, to me, some of the greatest moments I've had are fucking playing in front of my family and my loved ones. You know, I'm sitting right at the dinner table or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I'm just making sure you're not talking in empirical no one. You know, if no one likes you, if you're not connected with anybody, you might want to rethink your fucking.
I talked to someone
Like
recently.
no one, like the other bands at the gig are outside smoking and having a conversation.
Here's why I talked to someone recently
Good old New
who
Jersey.
is just getting started in the world, wants to get started in the world of animation. And what she said was, she goes, I draw constantly. And I said, oh, can I see what you drew? And she said, I don't show anybody what I draw.
Oh, I can appreciate that.
But like that
Good for her.
young passion to just do it was there. Now, my other question for you would be, if you weren't making music, would you still feel the need to express yourself in some other way?
Yes.
Of course.
So the need of self-expression is there no matter what happens.
I think so. I mean, in tandem with my music, I do use other methods anyway. I have a little bit of experience in stand-up comedy and visual art. Those things are. I have to be making something, yeah.
I agree.
But somebody has to be watching. And I'm serious though. It's weird because when it really comes down to it, I don't enjoy it. It is not fun. I don't have.
Funny.
It's not entertaining for me to write a song. I don't enjoy writing songs. I love it when it's done. I love it when it's done, and it's the most fulfilling thing in the world to me. But the process itself,
I hate the
sucks.
fucking process, and I hate recording it too.
But when I say, hold on a second.
I just like performing it in front of people, dick out, fucking let's rock and roll. I'm sorry.
I mean, when I say that, what I mean is that it's not pleasurable to write a song. It's not pleasurable necessarily to even be singing my lungs out. It doesn't feel good all the time.
I see what you mean.
But it's not that I hate it. It's that I don't have a choice. And I think that a lot of artists would agree with me in the sense that it is not a decision, it's a compulsion.
Yeah,
I have no control over it.
I'm a bass player.
Let's hear next and then you.
Catharsis is rarely enjoyable. You get that moment of epiphany after it's done. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
sure. I agree. But I got a question. How old was this animator that you're talking about? How old was you?
Just 18.
Yeah, so that's a common thing, man. Like, I hold myself. I hold HOLED myself up in my room for years before I went out and played guitar in front of anybody when I did it. Like, my daughter sang in front of me for the first time this weekend when we were on vacation. I was like, what the fuck? All right,
Yeah.
so I can appreciate somebody waiting until they feel they're ready, because you gotta get yourself to a point where you're comfortable enough with it to share with people. So, but give her time and she'll be sharing it, for sure, because you do want to make that connection. I mean, that's why I created is to make a connection with somebody. That's why I'd much rather have 10 people get me than 10,000 people want to hear one fucking song.
And again, this sort of brings up a new point, because you said you have the compulsion to do stuff. And I feel the same way, no matter what, no matter how depressed. In fact, everybody here does, I think.
I wouldn't be finished without it. I
love that.
If I wouldn't make music, I wouldn't make art if there was enough good shit inside me already.
We played a show once. We played a show once and fucking and I shit you not, in front of 3 people and a bartender, and none of the it's one of those things where you show up and there's supposed to be 3 bands, and the other 2 bands are looking at the crowd and they're like, well, fuck this, and they pack their shit up and leave. And it's you, 3 people, and a bartender, just a bunch of people. You have no idea, I didn't bring anybody here, and we just rolled out. And I went on that fucking stage, and my band actually, it was a rare off night for them. They were usually really solid, but they were the guitar player and the drummer sucked that night. They were awful. They just
hard to get a boner.
They really sucked. But dude, me and him were up there. I was screaming my guts out. I was flying off the stage. I was jumping onto the bar. I was assaulting the 3 people who were standing in front of the stage. And then I broke my own nose with the microphone. And at the end of the show, the bartender's sitting there with an ice bag and a beer on the house. And he looks at me and he's just like, I'm coming to your next show. He's just I can't fucking wait.
That is succeeding.
And that was dude, I didn't give a fuck. I was like, hey, look, there's a person. Let's freak him out, I didn't fucking care. This is what I do.
So do you need an audience or not?
No. That's what I do.
But that guy was an audience, so I mean.
Yeah, he was. No, I guess I did. Yeah, I know you're right.
I do need
an audience.
He's not.
Well, after any point, any argument, eventually get down to semantics and.
He took no audience and made a fan. Because that doesn't count, dude.
The bartender. He was getting paid to
no
be there.
audience.
I'm coming to your next fucking show. You're a shit,
Listen,
dude.
does the bar count him?
I guess what I'm
How
saying
many people did you guys
that
bring?
was one of my favorite shows ever.
I
I keep that one in the back of my mind at all times. I was just,
Make
I
that
was having
one fan
fun. I
right
just
there.
loved. I was like, you know what? This is yeah, shit's not gonna go the way it normally goes. We're gonna have a fucking weird night here. I'm fucking excited about this. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make 3 fans tonight. I got 1.
That's I think that's an admirable thing.
Let
him finish.
I think it's an admirable thing, and I think that's fantastic. And I try to have the same attitude whenever I can.
Yeah.
I don't always succeed, but
a good example to cite is when we played the Red Lion Cafe. We got a nice contact out of that.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
a very small audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that's very true. Not to play with the semantics of the question at hand. You know, would you do it with or without an audience? I guess what I'm saying when I respond to that, you know, yeah, you were saying you didn't have an audience. The one guy who you made a connection with was getting paid to be there, so you don't have an audience. Okay, by that definition, you don't have an audience. But do you do it in a vacuum? Do you do it without the outside world?
Yeah.
Do you do it just for yourself? Will you do it just for yourself to listen to? And my answer to that is going to be no. But my answer to will I do it whether or not there's an audience, and if there's one guy who's getting paid to be there who still hears it, yeah, I'll do it then.
Fuck it.
Interesting.
That's
Okay.
I agree,
So then my
completely,
next question was
100%.
going to be, if there's a compulsion to create and a compulsion to create art, Tony, I'm sorry if this pisses you off. I'm just asking a question.
That's what pissed me off.
If there's a compulsion to create art versus somebody who's trained in entertainment, is there a gap between what is considered art and what is
What
not
does it
considered
matter?
art?
Okay, what does it matter? You know, it's about. I've always said art is form and function, right? So if somebody it's about connecting with somebody. So if somebody's out there enjoying the shit out of entertainment, I don't see why what it matters whether entertainment is art. I personally don't say I create art. I say I'm a craftsman because I will work on a song for 2 fucking years before I think it's done. You know what I'm saying? And I originally did that to try to avoid sounding pompous, saying I'm an artist. And I realized that probably sounds just as pompous, if not more pompous. But you know, art to me is like if I create and say it's artistic, and I have a vision, and I feel that I've successfully attained my vision, and in some degree, then that's art, regardless of what anybody else says. I've done shit though where I thought sucked, and it really touched people. So who am I to argue with them?
No,
Okay.
yeah,
what were you gonna
I
say?
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm just listening.
Okay, I was curious if you had a response to that.
I think the interesting thing about this is that everybody's playing music for a different reason.
Yeah.
Every show has a different objective. Every project has a different objective. Like when I'm playing with the Tapeworms, totally different objective, totally different. I'm worried about stage presence. You're thinking like, what do these guys want to see? You want to make the people that showed up happy. But a good example, the other night I was playing at this open jam at a bar with a couple guys, a friend that I work with, Andy Boxer, a band named Schwiz. He plays drums for them.
Okay.
They're awesome.
I've
Good
heard
friend
of
James Horvath, he's a great guitar player. We went there and we played with these guys, and these guys were fantastic musicians, all the guys that were there. And we jammed together in this bar, and something that I noticed halfway through the set was that we were all looking at each other, and not one person had looked at the bar, at who was sitting there the entire time. And in that moment for that show, everybody was just playing for the jam. Everybody was taking such pleasure out just connecting with these other musicians that had never met before and communicating with each other. And there's there's something there that everybody had a great time, and there could have been 5 people there could have been 50 people there, 500 people there, and it would have been the same.
Sure.
You know, so a situation like that, it may not be about, I could have been having that jam in a basement, I still would have left extremely happy.
Sure.
Yeah.
But something,
Sure.
if you have a certain act that you're performing and you're like, I wrote this to do well in front of a big crowd, you go there and you don't have that, then you might go there and just be like, I don't feel like doing this at all right now.
Yeah.
Because you wrote it with an expectation, you wrote it for a purpose that it can't achieve. And it depends on why you're playing music in the first place. Whether you want to express yourself, whether you're playing it just because you want to hear it, or because you feel like you need to play it, or because that you want to make money, if you want to make these people feel the way that you do. So I think it's going to be different for every single person.
Can I just comment and say everybody has a different reason, but I did want to agree with what you said about it's a compulsion to create anything, to do anything. So because whenever if I have any kind of project, whether it's music or anything, like we went from playing music more to doing like I'm doing podcasting now for music, and in my head I can attach the two together. Like to me, the expression is not necessarily that different. So I have a need to make stuff and engage in things that are out of my imagination, whether it's music or anything else. And I haven't been able to really define for myself if there is even a difference between doing the two things.
They're all feeding the same thing. Like how you do your stand up and you like whatever it is you're doing. Like I produce records and I get to dip my toes into a whole bunch of different people's music all the time, and that's filling the same kind of hole in my heart that
Sure.
the tapeworms.
Sure,
dude. Like,
I want to talk. Wait, I want to talk more about the hole in the heart. Finish what
when
you
we
got to say.
got
And then
when we you know, like when I wasn't playing with bands and shit, it's still I have a group of dudes that I know who go to this place because it's just the garage. It's my buddy's garage, like every weekend. You know what I mean? And like we just roll out there. There's a full fucking drum kit. There's a bass rig and a guitar rig, and it's a rotating cast. Like whoever shows up. There's people from like you know like Super Groove and a lot of jam bands in the area and everything like that. Like all kinds of people just roll through and we just jam. And I always grab the mic there. And it's just I can't stop. You know like. There's no like even when there's no purpose if nobody's listening I still like I have
to do it.
It's like I see that mic and I hear people playing and I nod my head and I'm like I can do this. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, is it my turn? I can do it. I can go. You know, like I just can't stop. You know. Like,
when I saw that the Tapeworms were gonna be here the same day as me, I looked you guys up and I heard originality and something different and something that struck me, just like Twine did once a longer time ago. And
fuck you,
when
Michael Mayhem.
we got here, fuck your face.
All right.
When we got here at the same time and I saw you guys get out and I wasn't thinking about that post at that moment, I was like, oh, these are those guys. Like, look at these dudes. Like, you're just entertainers. You get the vibe. And, you know, cheers to all of us.
that's important.
Yeah, man.
That's important. I think that's an important thing to be when you're playing music.
Are you playing them or me?
Both, actually. Look, we're about to cut to break. We have a Ronin video. I'm sure you got a video. We got a Ronin video. We have a video for Wood and The Tapeworms coming up. And I'm playing a clip from when T.M. Stevens was at the bar. He used to play bass for...
he likes my
bass for
other
James
band
Brown.
that you didn't mention.
T.M.
yet.
Stevens
He came through the garage one night.
Graveyard School.
Graveyard School. Jesus Christ, you're doing way too much, man. You're doing too much. You're doing too much.
Too bad.
So we're going to play a clip from when T.M.
Well,
Stevens
bass
was
play.
here.
Drummers do 7.
Too busy.
So check that out. It's going to be about 25 minutes, and then we'll be back. Stick with us in the chat. Stick with us. Hi, Brandy. Hey, Epic Film guys. Hi, something cast. I will get to you. Don't worry. Gegita, if you will, sir.
Somebody wrote.
All right, to the Awesome Talk Studios, we would like to welcome Mr. TM Stevens. TM Stevens! Woo! All right. Excellent.
So, okay, there's something I've just been dying to bring up. I just gotta.
Yeah, he's been holding on to it for like
he
weeks.
really has.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about playing with James Brown.
Yeah.
What the hell is that like? What was your experience like? How long did you play for? And you did 8 backing vocals on Living in America with James Brown.
Yeah.
Yes.
How the hell do you even get yourself in a position to get there? I want to hear this story.
Oh, well, I was a kid.
What do you mean by a kid? Because I call myself a kid.
Kid.
Okay.
13,
Holy hell.
12, 11.
Wow.
You're a Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But before your time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
When I was watching Mickey Mouse, it was Annette Funicello.
Right.
She's awesome.
And do you remember that song?
Oh, yeah.
MICKEYMOUSE. But that was back then. And we had a black and white TV.
I remember that.
And first few times, my mother took me to the Apollo Theater on 125th Street.
Awesome.
Cool.
And we sat in the balcony, and I heard, the star of the show. And who the heck is that? It was James Brown.
Nice. Oh, excellent.
And he was doing all of this and splitting and carrying on. And I was like, oh my God, I want to be like that when I grow up.
Right.
After that, I saw 15 more shows.
Wow.
But the Apollo, in that time, you could go 12 noon, see the cartoons, Three Stooges, movies. And then at 6 o'clock, you heard that James Brown came on.
Wow.
So 2 things happened there historically. One time I came out, and there was some man on a podium talking to an audience. He stopped. He looked down. Who are you, young man? I said, TM Stevens. I looked up. Be strong. Who are you? Malcolm X. Oh, shit! And I went, what?
I quit this show. No, it should just be.
The point is, when you're 11, 12 years old, you don't know who that is.
Yeah.
But 20, 30 years later, you're reading in a book.
Yeah.
One day you realize.
That was him.
Damn.
The second time I came out of the Apollo, I left before James's show was finished.
Right.
Because he was about to eat. Hey, it's a man's world. And it was about to finish. I ran out of the theater, went around the back, which was pitch black back there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I'm a young kid
Oh, man.
in 125th Street. He came running out of the back door and got in his car, and I knocked on the window. He rolled it down. What?
That's how I picture it too.
Well, mind you, I'm standing there looking at his window, and you hear me say roll? They didn't have automatic windows there.
Yeah.
Right.
What? I said, one day I want to play bass for you. I love what you do. He just said, stay in school, get a job, and don't do drugs. You be famous. Roll the window up, and he pulled away. Left me in a black neighborhood.
Oh, man.
But
Well, better you than me, probably.
20 years
Probably
later,
a little better.
20 years later, who was his bass player?
That's awesome.
What?
That's unbelievable.
I'm gonna cling to that. I just
Yeah,
want to
that's
cling to that. That is
unbelievable.
just
Phenomenal.
dude. That's
great.
That's
Yes.
great news, man.
20 years later, and I went, Mr. Brown, you don't remember me. I was a little snot-nosed kid in the back of the Apollo, but here I am. I don't remember you, but good for you. And I went, yeah, I did it. And I said, if you follow your dreams, your dreams will follow you.
Wow.
Nothing is impossible.
Yeah.
That is just
That's awesome.
Truth right there. I mean,
Follow
without
your
a doubt.
dreams.
Without a doubt.
Your dreams will follow you.
Let me tell you something, man. When it comes to this show,
Yeah.
me, him, and my buddy Andrew, we started building this bar, which is not finished, unfortunately, but it's getting there.
It's getting there.
And we just started turning this
It
place
holds
into
a
a
beer pretty
studio
well.
because we wanted this show. And I just feel like that's what we're all doing here. We're just going for it at this point.
You
know?
go.
Yeah, don't give up.
You know, I mean,
Nothing is impossible.
Never.
It's just like when I was flying in the plane. I just went to Canada. We were flying towards some clouds, and it looked like a thick wall. You couldn't see through it.
wow.
I'm going, is he going to fly under it, over it, around it? And the closer we got to that wall, the more it looked like vapor, just water. Then it said to me, problems in life are just like that. Sometimes they look impassable, but when you get close to them,
Yeah.
mist.
Big ass smoke screen.
Just
I couldn't agree more.
Right, it's like a big ass smoke screen.
exactly. So we all have problems.
Everybody does, yeah.
It's not the problems; it's how you face them.
Right.
That's not good. Face it.
Exactly.
It's not a problem unless you believe there's a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Face it.
Well, I have a problem. My beer's getting low. I'm gonna get another.
That is a problem. that is a problem.
What a fest. But I always say that because you're talking to a young man,
Right.
who grew up in the Bronx and moved into Harlem,
Right.
and we lived on in Spanish Harlem, which is 110th Street. And Mom didn't pay the rent; they put us out. She wasn't home.
Shit.
Oh, wow.
The door knocked. City Marshal, you gotta go, and they took all our furniture and put it on the street.
God.
Mom came home. I'm sitting on the couch outside.
Outside.
On the couch, on the sidewalk.
Oh, man.
The kids are laughing.
It's not funny.
It's not funny, but-
God.
No.
The mental picture is just
Yeah.
horrible.
But I was in the Boy Scouts, and the scout leader wanted to teach me guitar.
Right.
But I just kept hearing the bottom of the band, not the guitar. I don't know
Oh,
why.
nice.
You were born to play bass.
Yeah.
Apparently is.
Well, people said to me, "How did you choose bass?" I said, "I didn't. Bass chose me."
Right, yeah. Oh shit! Can we just clink to that? I'm sorry. There's gonna be a lot of clinking
Throwing
tonight.
it all over the place now.
I'm sorry. It's just one great fucking line after the next. Where's your awesome milk?
I drink
So that's,
I got
so that's what happened.
Damn.
And then I started playing. And I was playing on a $10 cheap bass.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yep.
still play on
And I was getting
$10.
better and better. And back then in the Bronx, they had those after-hour clubs, those illegal ones.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up playing.
Do you go the one that you do the snaps?
Yeah.
Do the snaps?
No, it's almost like how he almost got in this building.
No,
By pressing the buzzer and saying his name and not kicking the toe.
I got that part.
They were illegal clubs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Why illegal?
Because it's not, licensed.
They
to
weren't
sing.
licensed?
It's
Right.
like a basement party around here.
It's like the way they do raves now.
Yeah.
And it was staying open way too late because you got to close at a certain time.
Yeah, right. Which
They
is
were
bullshit.
open all till 6 in the morning.
Nice.
That's awesome,
And
dude.
believe it or not, as I'm playing, I'm getting better and better and better. And all of the weird people who are hanging there,
Right.
the pros.
Oh, musicians. We're
They weren't
bunch.
musicians.
That's for sure. Oh, they weren't
They
musicians.
were pimps.
Oh,
Exactly.
they were the people.
And they're going, "Boy, you getting good.
Right.
You getting good." And I learned on that. Then I finally got my first bass in the Bronx, a 69 Fender.
Oh, Jazz Master?
Still got it. And I didn't have money for a case, so I kept the box
Right.
until the box disintegrated.
Yeah. He sees the pillowcase.
Then you know what my next case was? A towel.
Oh, even better. Oh, my God.
But I came from that, and my mom was we were walking on the street, no place to live. And she would offer to make up rooms and clean them for the hotel if they let us stay.
Wow.
It seems like your mom was a powerful force with you. She seems like the most beautiful person in your.
Oh, yeah, we were having a rough one. I mean, imagine walking the streets in Harlem.
Right, yeah.
Oh, sure.
And then all of a sudden, I just kept going, and all of a sudden, it started happening.
What year are we talking? Like, what?
We're talking back.
You don't want
I
to
saw
say.
your mom in the video you gave us. She seems like a super supportive of the
Strong.
music, as far as your music goes.
Yeah.
Huge
Really
hearted person.
supportive.
Sure.
I mean, I just kept playing, and then I got with Norman Connors and Pharoah Sanders. We played. And then I ended up playing with Miles in 1978.
Oh, that, yeah. For the people who don't know, yes, he means Miles Davis.
Miles
He
Davis.
played with Miles.
He played
Davis.
with Miles Davis, okay?
Yeah.
God.
I was living in an apartment, studio apartment, a little tiny thing,
Sure.
on 17th Street in New York. And I got this call, ring. And a Japanese lady was on the phone and said, "Would you like to play a session?" Yeah, who? Miles Davis. I thought she was lying.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
She goes, "Tomorrow. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock." 1 o'clock came and the buzz went, eh, eh. Who is it? This is the limo service. What? Took my bass, and it was a black limo, and I got in there, and Al Foster was in the car.
Did they look at the towel funny? Wow. Put the bass in the
So they picked up everybody.
Right.
We went to Connecticut. The door opens, and guess who I see sitting in there?
Tell me, Miles Davis.
Miles.
Oh.
I went, "That's Miles." In fact, there's a book, and I'll send you an article.
Right.
And we went in there, and he's like, set up and play. He talks like that.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, my God. I plugged in.
Oh, man.
Everybody plugged in, and we started playing. But Miles wouldn't be in the same room with us. He would go upstairs, and if he didn't like something, he'd push the intercom.
What?
Push the button. What? Open the hi-hat. It's too much. Shh. That's
nice.
Or
That's an insane story.
I'll tell you why. He goes, play less notes.
What?
The guitar's too distorted.
Oh my! He's like the Wizard of Oz.
He's sitting upstairs just listening to the speakers. He's listening to.
He's listening.
Wow.
He came downstairs and said, Miles, I have a question. He goes, what? Why are you doing it that way? You know what his answer was?
I can't wait.
If I'm sitting in the room, you're going to play differently.
Oh, that is brilliant.
Really
that
fast.
is fucking brilliant.
Like if you're Miles, I'm going to be doing something to impress you.
Right. Yeah.
But he says, if you can't see me, you're going to play more like you. So my thing is listening to what you're doing. Busted.
Yeah. Wow.
So the second rehearsal, and this is in the book.
Right.
I'm in his biography, but I had an afro.
Do we have an image of that, Dave? Do we have the Miles Davis image?
We do.
Can you just put it up for a second? I know there's a microphone attached to it, so we'll be able to put it up on the screen. Is it up now?
Yeah.
Okay, leave it up for a couple seconds and then go back to Skycam with the phone number, all right? And anybody who's in the chat room who's watching, yeah, Miles Davis, what the fuck is right?
Yeah, that's right.
There it is. Take a look, man. This guy right here fucking played with Miles Davis, man. He's right here on Awesome Talk with us, talking to us on Awesome
Which
Talk.
means we kind of played with Miles.
See? I'm touching you.
Passing it on.
You know how they say when you have sex with somebody, you have sex with every person they had sex with?
I feel like I'm in the back of the Apollo right now.
Well, Miles said to me, I went to him, the second rehearsal.
Yeah.
And I was playing all my bad licks. And I went, I was kicking it today. How was it? He said, it's all right. I said, Miles, what do you mean it's all right? I played my baddest licks. He said, that's your problem. I said, what do you mean? He says, when you're playing your baddest licks, you're not opening, you're just playing what you know.
Oh.
He said, but when you open, and the first thing you do is listen. He says, have ears bigger than your head. Listen. And like if you play, what do you play?
Oh, I focus on guitar, but bass, drums, whatever.
All right, so now you playing. We're playing. Your guitar goes, hello. I go, how are you? Fine. He said, that's a conversation.
Ooh.
Now you're playing as a unit as opposed to watch me play and just play what I know. He said, because you're not listening, you're just playing what you know. So what I did, I stopped doing that and just played what I heard from the band. And he said, say hello and then wait for an answer. So the bass goes, hello. Fine. And he said, now it's what you don't play a lot of times that means more than what you
right.
play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He taught me that. He said, T.M. Stevens is not how many notes you play, it's how you play that one note. He changed my life. It's in the book. Wow.
It's like when they say size doesn't matter, it's the motion of the ocean. It's a simple thing, man.
But he said to me, he said, it's where you put that note.
Yeah.
Wolfgang Dancer, yes, this is very cool.
Yeah, Wolfgang Dancer. I'm a bass player.
I'm a bass player. Cool. This is very cool.
Are you kidding me? This is the best. This is unreal. The most amazing stuff I've ever heard about music in my whole life.
It's true. I was playing with Billy Sheehan, Steve Vai. I was in his band.
Yeah.
We're all on stage at NAMM show.
Right.
Playing, and this black man walks on stage.
Was it you?
Staggering, no. He walks on stage, he goes, stop that. We went, who the hell are you? And he grabbed the guitar and went, the crowd went nuts.
Oh, no. I think I know who you're.
And we went, how did you do that?
Is that him?
How did you do that?
And he was going, well, we got off stage.
Right.
He said, y'all guys are going, and he went out and went,
And
melted. He said, it's how I played that one note that melted the crowd. He said, it's when you hit it, how you hit it, and the feeling you hit it, and how you touch people, not typewriter.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I said, who the heck are you? B.B. King.
Oh
my God.
Oh my God.
That's B.B. King.
I made a report about him.
I'm not even gonna say
lick it first, though.
My name is T.M. Stevens, and you're watching Awesome Talk. Don't you turn that channel and keep that funk alive.
You're trying to replace yourself. 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 You're trying to replace yourself.
Calvin and the fact from a reckoning, tucking in your black skin, sagging like a skeleton, levitating off the ground. He's another man wearing no face. I'll use the false identities, remedies or enemies, to mitigate your memories, shattered at what they found when they stripped away the grace. You learn to your biography, I'm who I ought to be, and that's God's of me. So my God, what's wrong with me? If who I want to be might be. You don't take me alive, baby. You never take me alive. You never take me. You never take me. You better pray that I die. You never take me alive, baby. You never take me alive. You never take me. You never take me. I know you're never gonna find somebody to replace yourself. Somebody to replace yourself. Somebody to replace yourself. Somebody to replace yourself. Tired of looking at you, imposter. You're so you're not gonna get caught in your own skin. But you didn't choose what you were born in. I am another man in your repertoire, already in your head and fed upon your memoirs. Still the same rules apply from the birthday to the morning. Why you feel and what you do, honestly's really you, and it's nothing wise. Never, never, never. So my God, what's wrong with you? And I'm still asking who that is. Never, 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 never. You never take me alive, baby. You never take me alive. You never take me. You never take me. You better pray that I die. You never take me alive, baby. You never take me alive. You never take me. You never take me. I know you're never gonna find somebody to replace yourself. Somebody to replace yourself. Somebody to replace yourself. Somebody to replace yourself.
Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back. Awesome Talk Season 7, Episode 4 on September 20th, 2016. Welcome back. Holy shit. We've had quite a show so far. We've had all sorts of conversations. We've talked a lot about music and art tonight, which I really like. I really like the philosophical
those are fun
conversations.
ones.
I like it when it bounces all over the place, then we eat pork chops and shit like that.
Did you say bounces?
Pork
Bounces.
chops.
When it bounces all over the place?
I have a degree that says I can make up words,
Shitzel.
Ryan.
That's fine.
Talk about the shitzels.
Your degree don't mean shit on the streets, son.
What about the degree? You know? Only one got to listen to your students.
So anyway, I want to do a quick around the bar so we can reintroduce ourselves to folks in the chat room, people who are watching. I am Rick, your host.
I am Mayhem, bass player of Ronin and the Graveyard School.
I'm John Lacki from the internet.
Ryan from the brains.
His own brains.
Yeah, that's what I was pointing at.
It's a large wasteland.
Sarah?
Tony.
I'm John.
I'm Mike.
Yeah, I'm Will Wood. I don't know where else to be looking.
Back to you, Rick.
Thanks, Gigi Ta. I'd also like to throw a shout out to one of our sponsors, Nevermore-Designs.com. You hear that? Do you hear that pandering, folks? Do you hear that? You hear that shit? Go to Nevermore-Designs.com.
He keeps it real.
I keep it the fuck real, Ryan. Especially when I'm drinking out of an Awesome Talk mug.
These mugs are great.
We're not sellouts.
Well, definitely a Mexican bar fight class.
I say it every week.
Makes me feel like a glutton.
I've never heard of selling out.
The old wife silencer.
Let me tell you something.
Way to go.
I'm sorry.
Not only
Aaron.
do these mugs hold 2 regular-sized beers at a time, but they will really wallop a bitch, as Ryan has pointed out so gracefully.
Especially an Irish bitch who doesn't know her place.
Yep.
Very special.
This is getting really personal.
Break!
We can't break now. We're
I
just
know.
getting started. Okay, where did we leave off in the conversation? Who
Movie
remembers?
reboots.
Where are we talking about?
That's where we started.
I'm not sure, but I think we were talking about Irish bitches who don't know their place.
I was gonna. Oh, I know. Let's see. I was gonna kick off with something a little bit more disturbing and upsetting.
Oh, great.
Perfect. I was gonna talk about the recent bombings and everybody's thoughts on.
I didn't hear much about it, honestly.
Not too much. From the rest of you.
What a shitty place to put a perfectly good bomb in the trash.
I know, right? You could have blown up something that mattered.
Trash cans
I was in Chicago when that happened. I heard, I'm just totally desensitized to that because I wasn't around.
You're like, I was 1,000 miles away. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
I'm always 1,000 miles away.
That's called the restraining order.
No, it's called inebriation.
I try to limit my opinions to the scope of things that don't affect other people.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A true libertarian.
Well, that was a scathing retort.
I want to say, but you know what? I try to keep my opinions into the scope of, things that don't affect other people. So
it's kind of true.
if you have something to say about, if you have a question to ask about politics or about,
How do you feel
recent
about
tragedy
Gary
or about
Johnson?
anything, don't, please, I can't. People, I
No,
don't wanna-
please, I want to know.
The fact that you're
let's
scared
just-
to answer makes me excited because I know you're gonna bury yourself. Come on.
No,
We're gonna
not
love you
necessarily.
for it.
No, Gary Johnson's an asshole.
Fucking Gary fucking
I'm a
Johnson is
joke
not a
guy.
real human being.
Thank
He's
you.
a fucking. He's
Like
he's a joke.
He's
a,
like a beanbag chair. Like
He's like a
beanbag
chair.
He just reminds me
Just
of
takes
like
the
a
form
goofy
of
thing in
whatever.
a room.
I thought you were
Yeah,
going
like-
somewhere completely
That's
different.
I'll tell you though, the guy must know how to delegate responsibility. As a governor, he built fucking roads, opened hospitals, fucking got teachers'
Legalize
raises.
weed.
You're right.
Climbed
And left
the
with a surplus. left with a huge surplus.
you're right.
As opposed to what he came into. So, politicking is about being able to reach across the aisle and being able to delegate. That's the only 2 things you need to do politicking. Kiss babies,
You
shake
always say
motherfucking
reach
hands.
across the aisle. What do you mean by that?
It means like the left side to the left side.
Yeah.
What do I mean? It's like you have to. Politics is about building relationships. It's about
Unite-
networking. It's
I
about the
always try to
internet,
figure
man.
out what it is
Uniting-
about that statement that belongs.
Because you have the left, side of the aisle, the right side of the aisle. That's
No, and I understand
You
the left
reach
side, the
across
right
the
side of the
aisle
aisle. What I don't
to
believe is I don't believe that there's ever any actual reaching across.
Oh,
the aisle.
absolutely there is.
There has
Let
been.
me tell you,
Hand
John
jobs,
McCain,
yeah.
if John McCain
It
was
is
such
called hand jobs.
a danger to the Supreme Court, I would have got my vote because that motherfucker's been in politics 21 years. He had a scandal a long time ago. Got his ass back. He learned to reach across the aisle. You got tons of politicians. Not Bernie Sanders. Who's fucking Barney Frank? Okay, Barney Frank's whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, well.
You know, right? There's guys that are lifelong politicians and lifelong public servants, and they have their eye on the constituency and not on their fucking own trust funds or their own fucking whatever the Clinton Foundation fucking bullshit is.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
a
saying?
lot of bullshit.
You know, shit,
Screaming
right?
amount of bullshit.
So there are public servants that are out there, and they do make a difference. Okay, and so these are people though that have learned to reach across the aisle because when you come to your constituency is not just your people who voted for you; it's the people under your fucking care. You're a shepherd.
Sure.
You know, so you have to be able to fucking.
The difference between about the people who disagree with you.
That means you have to provide for people who have different opinions than you. And the best way to do that is to compromise, like Henry Clay said. You know, great compromise leaves everyone pissed off.
What were you gonna say? I saw you tapping your finger.
That was not David Clinton. Henry Clay never actually said that.
I was really, I suppose. I mean, if I'm gonna say something, I guess it would be that I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to politics, and
I think that's okay.
when it comes to most political discussions, I know very few political science majors. What I mean by that is, I think everybody is always wrong, and we're all a bunch of fucking retards. And I'm not saying like I don't see. It's the thing is I don't like to talk about politics because I'm angered by the act of talking about politics because I'm always wrong. No matter every time I think I have a point to make, somebody fires back with a counterpoint, and part of me thinks that that's just the nature of the world.
But it's like Wikipedia. That counterpoint's not always valid.
Yeah, they're probably right.
It's like it was written by a 6-year-old in Kuwait.
That's there you go, right there. You know, you can't really move anything. Nobody ever wants to change their minds about politics. Nobody is ever, nobody has ever won an argument about politics. Not even on massive main stage televised debates do people ever win their arguments. People just shout over each other until they hate each other for arbitrary lines they draw in the sand over who their favorite guy to run shit is. And usually what ends up happening is everything sucks in different ways depending on who you choose.
The real question is...
He's been bottling it up. Go ahead.
No. Basically comes down to govern yourself, and it's about being exposed to a different point of view. So maybe you might change your mind. And people back in the day when we had, now it's completely out of control the way the media is. We're all in a diabetic coma from the low-hanging fruit the fucking media is fucking serving up to us, right? Back in the day though, there was real discussions, and there were people that came up or were able to prove their point. Gore Vidal and William Buckley had famous debates in the '68 presidential election, and Gore Vidal proved his point that Buckley was just a fucking uptight asshole. Didn't prove anything politically, but I think he just set out to really fucking twist some knives with them. The point is though, it's about communication, about finding, to me anyway, and I can only speak for myself. I won't ever tell anybody they're wrong. I might say this, and anything I say is obviously what I think about, but I think it comes down to govern yourself, just be cool to each other, and really. The problem is with the internet, we all have our opinions and we all think, because I completely sympathize with Will, everyone is just they got all this information at their fingertips, they know how to fucking use it.
And it's always the shittiest opinion. It's always venom and hate.
But it's always the necessary
bullshit.
venom.
Hold on. I just want to point out
hey,
that I'm wearing this
But
tonight.
Michael Mayhem, isn't it? He's just saying what everyone's already thinking. That's always the fucking shit that you hear. It's always shit like that. It's always that pandering, telling you what you think shit. You know what I mean?
I'm over it.
I think you gotta have compassion. Look, people say Trump supporters. They're not. There's a lot of fucking smart people, but you gotta have sympathy for where they're coming from because they are fucking so beat down. Like I've said before, I believe that we've already passed. We've crossed the Rubicon. The fork is right in front of us here, and there's only two choices: mayhem, chaos, or fucking tyranny. At this point.
I take insult to that. Thank you.
Once people understand that those two imaginary sides that they think are fighting against each other are all fucking golf buddies and hanging out, and they're not.
Shit, that's why they're called hawks,
If
man.
they hated each other so much, they kill each other, but they don't. They just kill brown people.
Right wing, left wing, same bird.
They do.
I think we should
That's right.
I think we should all vote for Bill Stein in that first hour.
Right,
and flood the numbers so
this
that
big fight
for the first
between the
hour of
Clintons
the
and
election,
everybody that
Bill
everybody
Stein's
thinks
winning.
exists. It's not. Like, they're going to be at the same New Year's Eve party, I promise.
Bernie got screwed.
They're going to get over it really fast. I guarantee you that. Whoever wins or loses, they're going to get over it really fast.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Nothing.
No, say what you want to say.
I just hate all establishment politics. And
you learned that
Hillary
round,
Clinton is the devil, and I think she killed Kurt Cobain. That entire conspiracy.
Dude, I saw that.
I can't believe I've been holding on to that for that long.
So it's Hillary's fault we're not getting signed.
That's it.
Yes, he even remembered the quote. My man, pots and pans. I like your band a lot.
You know why I wasn't too butthurt about Bernie, but you were? Because I figured out a long time ago that it's all bullshit. Now, let me tell you something. I loved Bernie Sanders. I loved his ideas.
You still love
him. No. I love what he had to say and what he stood for more than the man. The man doesn't matter. Once the idea is out there, that's what matters.
Beautiful.
The message. That's why I switched over to Jill Stein with such grace. Because I said...
I was going to wear my shirt, but it didn't come in the mail
Because
yet.
according to me, I said the idea is what matters. And even the chances of her being a good person are slim to none when you consider what politics are and what they do. But we got a better chance with her than we do with Clinton or Trump.
It's not the man.
Oh
the
God,
message,
Hillary.
It's the idea.
All people forget that for 8 years while Bill Clinton was our president, she was the most feared woman.
She
and
was
a lot
the
of Democrats and a lot of Democrats want to say that.
Maybe she just like to watch.
You know, history's changed.
John doesn't talk about. John's like, I hear you, brother.
They want to say she was a strong woman and they feared her. No. They feared a power-hungry bitch. And if you don't see it, if anyone else got sick right now during this process,
if you are trying to become the president, you are a power-hungry bitch. I think that's relevant as to whether or not you're Hillary Clinton.
Right,
if you want to be the president,
your theme song is pomp and circumstance.
that is the definition of power-hungry.
I always say, in order to desire to be a politician to the level where you will fight for it and pay millions for it,
you therefore have the qualities that make you a bad one.
No, you have you have a mental illness for power. Like you know what I'm saying? Like people. Do you guys watch? Does anybody here watch Mr. Robot? Does anybody pay attention to that show?
I watched the first season.
You know what I'm saying? Well, the whole idea is you got hackers versus the fucking corporations. You know what I mean? And in the last episode, there was a really great speech that happened between two huge corporate owners. And for as big as they were, one was still massively more powerful than the other. And the other guy said,
the top 1%.
Right. And the other one said to the other, "Why do you do this?" And he said, "Because ever since I was a kid, no matter who I stood in a room with, it was important for me to know that I had more power than everyone else standing around me. And to this day, it is still the most important thing to me." And that was his answer. He didn't have it. It wasn't a desire for cars or a pussy or fucking houses or anything like that. It was just this inherent mental need for power.
He sounds like a swell guy.
He sounds like what I feel like really goes on at the upper echelon of who's in control.
Yeah, but the real person in control is the man behind the curtain.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Central bank owning.
I'm talking about the people who don't have a Facebook account.
You're
I'm talking
gonna
about the
go
people
to
who
war.
don't use credit cards.
You mean the people that get 9 fucking heart transplants at the year? No? Anybody?
They're in a heart transplant at a love club.
we all. It's not like they're like. That's the other thing that annoys me is that like it's people like it's like they're like some fucking. It's like it is shady and back alley, but you know these people. You know them all. Like they're media figures. They're right in your face every day. They just don't
disagree.
admit it. They don't
I
just
feel
sit
like,
there and,
I
tell
feel
you,
like,
oh, by the way, I fucking changed all that
that's
shit that
the
you
sub
hate.
level. But that's the sub level.
Like
Man. And
they're out there
they
right
still
in front of
answer
your face.
to
And
whoever's on top. And I feel like the people who are really on top.
no, they are the ones on top. That's what I'm saying.
We don't know the people.
They're
we
underground.
do.
They're
No,
like
we do.
10
You do.
feet deep
You
in
do.
concrete.
There's no religion.
There's
that
no
they pray to.
Wi-Fi signal.
There's no religion they pray to. There's no fucking flag that they honor. There's none of that shit. There's only the handful that have been in power for a really long time.
We are talking about the top one of
run
top
everything.
1%.
But there
It's
is,
called
but
the
there is some
NFL
truth to
ownership
that.
club.
That's me, dude.
Dude,
Fucking Illuminati.
That's
Yeah,
you.
That's me.
Fuck, man.
Yeah. Bow down.
Now I gotta change my show so everybody likes it.
I'm canceling this shit.
But yeah. So, fuck, man.
I gotta pee.
That's why I'm not having kids. I can't bring anyone
Uh-oh.
into this shit. It's crazy, right?
Yeah. I agree. I mean, the people I do know that have kids, like this guy, he has a fucking, for as fucked up as he clearly is.
Than everybody
Well,
else.
brain damage and a son.
Yeah.
No, they're cool. They're well-adjusted,
No, they're
young,
not brain
gentle
damaged.
gentlemen.
Right, but they're going to
and
learn from his brain.
super
damage.
tiny.
They're going to learn from his
I would just say,
emotional
well,
problems.
it's
Learn
not
from.
leading,
Oh no!
Not-
it's not leading by example.
Oh,
It's
my
guiding with
household is a
wisdom.
Your
wonderful,
what?
peaceful place. It really is. I love
It's
it.
very zen.
Yes, it's very nice. It's a very, very nice
Say
place to
zen.
be. Zen, sure, why not? I don't
It's
care.
what?
What were you going to say, Tony?
I said I like to say some people lead by example, like guide with wisdom. And you're fucking derelict, You gotta teach people how to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Kids these days are raised to believe that there's some Disney fantasy, man. It's a rude awakening.
Do you think that? Do you think they're really
Yeah,
raised that way?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely,
dude, absolutely,
big
absolutely. There's sense of entitlement that's beyond fucking ridiculous, man.
Now, by the way, I want to say to you that
It would be great if the real world operated that way. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but at the same time, I want to make sure that we're on the same page because I don't get on that whole millennials are lazy train. And
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, no, I didn't think this is what you're saying, but I thought, from what I gather, what you're saying that you lead by wisdom, you lead by example and things like that.
No, I guide with wisdom. Leading by example is not my strong point.
No,
But
yeah,
guide
I
by
could-
wisdom
I
is
could see that.
like when I see something bad coming, I go, look, go down that road. But when I did, I came back missing a fucking arm,
Yeah.
and I had a chicken fucking wing attached to my fucking where my legs should have been.
But let me tell you
know?
something, man. I read something recently where people were like, everybody blames millennials, everybody blames Generation X, but really it's the baby boomers that are the fucking problem.
Reaganomics.
Yeah, that the
It's
baby boomers.
everybody
hold
that's
on,
the
hold on.
problem.
That the baby boomers, in terms of the present,
Oh,
election that we're dealing with, they're actually the ones that are making this election complicated.
You know what the
Whereas
The
millennials and
TV,
Gen
best
Xers aren't.
media, and they just happen to intersect with the baby boomer generation, and that helped bring the baby boomer generation together, much like the internet has now. Okay, but it was just a matter of timing. So it might be. I don't know that I disagree with what you're saying. But I think that's more television's fault, more mass media, more because as what started out as a wide open field is now narrowed to fucking like 4 people in a room that can control everything we fucking see.
Yeah.
And people are so, like I said, they're so overeducated and underexperienced. It's ridiculous.
Who's the youngest guy here?
You're right.
Me. I'm the youngest person.
How old are you?
21.
You're 21.
Good
So
for
when
you.
you hear shit like that, when you hear like millennials just aren't working hard enough, millennials aren't this, millennials aren't that, I've never. Just to clarify,
No, this is a great conversation for me to listen to because I listen to the same conversation.
John works
all
harder
the
than
time.
anybody I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
okay,
No, and I will say that. I won't be like, oh no, I fucking work so goddamn hard.
right.
It's
And
crazy.
what do you think when you hear stuff like because as somebody who's in a similar position and is almost 40, I listen like my dad before my dad died. He always said, "You got to work harder. You got to do this. You got to do that." And it's like, dude, I'm working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, I don't know what else to fucking do, man.
Well, like in that generation, you could work like the amount of hours that most people I know who are considered lazy fucks work. You could work that many hours and you can move out and you can do well for yourself. But like, it's fucking hard. It is just like people could work part-time jobs and a part-time job could normally.
Did you go to college?
I did not go to college, no.
You didn't. And why didn't you? I'm curious.
Well, because I knew since the age of 13 that I wanted to be a recording engineer. I wanted to produce bands and stuff.
Okay.
And everybody that I knew at the time, because I was doing internships, I would ask, like, what is the next logical step for me to take, because you've done it before. Everybody that I knew for that particular career path told me to just take the money you're going to spend on tuition and buy a studio with it, or, like, buy gear, or invest it in your craft.
Follow your passion.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
Something like that.
Good for
You
you,
pick up
man.
nuances
By the
over
way,
time that
that is
define your
good for you.
style, and there's no way you're gonna, you can learn about things in the classroom, but hands-on is the real fucking
Well,
way to go,
absolutely,
man.
because I know so many people.
Especially when you're driven like it sounds like you are,
I have interns right now who are 5 years older than me, who
Wow.
just got out of college,
Amazing.
and they don't have any real experience. They know what's going
They're
on.
arguing
but-
math with you, and you're like, yeah, but this is like real life.
Yeah, right,
exactly,
right.
exactly. You haven't been in that scenario. You haven't been doing what you need to be doing. You don't have the
So, yeah,
experience.
we've
Let me
all
tell
come up
you-
against the sound guy right out of fucking audio school, right? I know it's not the way like my band.
Let me tell you how much respect I have.
Yeah.
And the reason I ask, man, is because you're articulate, you're intelligent, you're talented, you got a lot going on, man, and you found another way. So, I guess my question is when I see people like, even a generation above me, and they're looking at you guys and saying, you guys aren't working hard enough. Like, what is the response? Like how do you?
I mean, maybe a majority of us aren't. Maybe a majority of millennials
Nah,
are.
dude.
The
Times
problem
have
is
changed.
that the amount of work that needed to be done like 30 fucking years ago
Right.
would buy you a fucking house and a pool and
I see what you
shit.
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
what I
if
mean,
they
yeah.
see that you don't have a house and all this other bullshit, they just assume it's because you're
But-
not working enough
Yeah, well,
because it
it's-
doesn't
But the
fucking
cost
suck.
of living has gone up while
And
wages have
buying
stayed
a
the
house
same.
Way
is
up,
stupid.
way up.
Because if you're an entertainer or if you have any aspirations of doing something other than what you're doing right now, buying a house is a fucking ball and chain. Every opportunity that comes is probably not within your ball and chain's distance. So you're going to have to pass on it and stay stuck doing what you're doing. Buying a house, what used to be a good idea, is now a horrible idea. Times have changed. Renting and letting someone else take care of your stuff, way better.
Seems like a great
You
idea,
get
yeah.
a better, you get a deal to go on the road and do something. So you just let your lease expire, and you find something else when you come back.
Especially
Like,
for people who live
such
our
is life.
particular lifestyle.
Right.
Because I know
we're
like,
nomads, damn it.
I used to
You
know a
can't
dude
own
who
a home unless you own it outright.
I know a dude who lived in a U-Haul. For,
Okay.
Genius.
Yes.
Yeah, smart.
Greg from the Dillinger Escape Plan lived in a
Oh.
U-Haul.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
fuck
dude.
yeah.
For like
Van
For
fucking
Giada,
ever.
yeah.
And
He's
it's
a
just
fucking
because he
lunatic.
was touring so much that he couldn't have a residency, and it's not because he couldn't afford it. It's just that's what was most practical, you know. So
Sure.
what exactly what you're saying. A lot of people,
Oh,
you see that somebody doesn't have a
so
house and a
bad.
pool, and you're like, oh shit, they must be doing really shit. No, they're just living within their means.
Don't
That's
forget
all.
the general wisdom too, going back to like ancient Greek tragedies. Fucking guys who used to write that would say, "I fear for the future," looking at this current generation. So that's always the point of view from the
Dude,
experience.
I think about that all the time, actually, and I wonder because every generation that's older looks at the younger generation and goes, "Holy fuck!" But the difference between Generation X and the Millennials is I see a lot of fucking unity between the two generations, and I see a lot of the same kind of suffering between the two generations. And I feel like there's a huge generation gap between the baby boomers and the next two versus
the
between
baby-
Well,
the next two.
again, baby boomers also had, you know, and I'm not defending the baby boomers. Like, look at Jerry Rubin or these guys in '68 in Chicago, man. What they fucking turned out to fucking be, you know,
Sure.
what they brought on, what they brought on, you know, all their hope and change. Again, though, I think though that it's about intersecting, you know, mass communication as well as with money. Like after, you know, in '72, the country was in such a bad fucking shape that there were lines of the gas line. Nixon fucking put freezes on fucking wage hikes for unions and shit like that. It was a great time for people to invest their money in that money. Then the money, it's like looking at the price of vintage guitars now compared to like fucking 1985.
Sure,
you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. So there is that. That is also that's where the big gap comes in. I don't know. That's anyone's fault other than, you know, Ronald Reagan's.
Hold on, I just want to, Ryan, I'm going to get to you next. Finished The Walking Dead season 6 today, and there was a quote that pretty much sums up politicians this year trying to pick up a turd from the clean end.
I saw it. I had to point that shit out.
One, yeah.
George Carlin said it best. What does it say? R-E?
In regards to.
Okay. Politics. Yeah, he did. Sure. Ryan, what did you want to say, man?
Oh, it was just, you know, I talk about the whole millennial thing, you know, it's just like, it just seems silly though, like, how do you think the Renaissance became what it was, you know what I mean? Like, did people just
Three versions.
oh, okay, well, you know, fuck it, I guess we're just lazy. No, they started creating, they wanted
Things
to get
became
smarter.
so bad
Three,
that
no.
people
Became
did things because
so
they love to do
awful.
them.
It's
And
amazing
they broke away and they said, no, we're not going to follow this path. They
Michelangelo was
rebuilt,
almost
you know?
as big as Kurt Cobain.
It amazes me how much we don't really think about how much there are like home artists and home engineers that are both on the rise at the same time. So the idea to expand and be creative is all of a
It's
sudden
not just art. It's also
happening.
industry. Like there are a
Well,
lot
yeah.
of
Right,
people
right.
who are working differently than people used to work.
Sure.
And
There are a
general
lot of people
technology.
who are creating business, like legitimate business, and like, you know, like globally responsible business as well. You know, and they're being completely responsible. They're not a bunch of fucking artsy, you know, like hipsters or anything like that. Like they're
Well,
just
a lot of them
normal,
are.
and some
And
of
there's
them
nothing wrong
are.
with that.
And it doesn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. So like one generation calling another generation lazy is completely ridiculous, especially
agree.
considering
Completely
you
predictable.
left that generation.
It's painfully
And not
predictable.
but you know
In
what though?
disarray.
The first fucking thing you should say is, well, you're the one who left this generation with 50 times the debt your generation had, so
Right.
thanks for that.
'Cause
Like fuck
war.
you, like
Yeah.
you did it so
And
great. You
here's
know what I
also
mean?
the
Like,
thing.
oh yeah, you guys were so fucking awesome and
You
everything.
guys-
Because my life is just gonna be fantastic
So you
from
guys
here
brought
on
up the
out.
Puppet
You know?
Masters
Like,
before.
Go ahead.
Right? You brought up the Puppet Masters before, and I was totally sidetracked from my thought there. By your fucking
Puppet master.
fair finish there. No. I know. Yeah, I forget what I was gonna say. Something about the. Yeah.
Puppet
What
master.
were you saying? What were you saying before that?
The millennial. It's like you guys did so fucking good.
Some of the
How come
millennials
the world
and,
is
like-
left in
it's
such a
gone,
shit
man.
state.
Well,
Like
my
the-
last-
I was talking
last-
about the deficit.
Some
I was
skull
talking
and
about the
bone
deficit,
shit.
like the
My
overrated
last
thing.
question, before we cut to a second break.
Generationally increasing deficit. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
My last question was, as somebody who is that young, how fair do you believe you have it?
Tuition
and
was
what is
free
fair?
for
I'm not
years
gonna-
ago
Well, hold
to
on. Like,
college.
however you answer that is okay
Yeah.
by me. You know what I'm saying? Because I do believe that things have been rigged in a very downward spiral, so the people at the bottom are getting burned worse and worse every generation.
I don't
So
think that I don't have it fair just because other people have had it better. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna complain.
I could
if
say
that's-
that I'm a year older than John. I'm 22.
Okay, yes, you're right there.
I could say that like my father, he works very hard. He's done very well for himself. He's provided a great life for me and my family. I myself, I recognize the privilege that I've had, and I haven't had the roughest ride, but I look at the opportunities I have, looking into the future as far as career paths, and I look at the amount of money I'm making now in retail, and I'm trying to imagine myself in a poorer position where my parents can't help me to buy a car.
Right.
And I can't live at home and eat and live for free right now. I'm trying to imagine myself in a situation where I wasn't that lucky as somebody that's my age with my sort of working experience going to school right now. And things are just too tough for them to do. Now, millennials are really whiny. A lot of them are really annoying.
Do you
on
agree with that
Facebook.
sentiment?
I agree. I see a lot
Yeah.
of people in my graduating class really upsetting on Facebook. Really, really annoying. But it's not that I don't see where they're coming from. It's just that they complain about it and they're trying to blame everybody else when it's just like, a lot of them just have to sit there and be like, listen, this is the reality of our situation. Regardless of whose fault it is, you have to try to take control and you have to just make the best out of it that you can. And no matter how much you're whining, it's not going to fix it. But at the same time, you can't knock them in saying that all the millennials are like, oh yeah, they're just lazy, they're just sitting around doing whatever they want, because it's not the case. Just because
they've got it rough and they're pissed.
You can't say
they're
all
upset.
that
You can't
anyway.
blame them for being upset.
There aren't even even trade jobs are like doing like the
I know they're
opportunity.
dwindling, I know.
Like when
I
I
used to do
like,
a
dude,
trade.
that's one leg up that we obviously had on the next generation.
Yeah, it's
like,
good to have that, but-
I dropped out of high school. I was fucking troublemaker. I got it, but dude, you know what? I could at least make like $8 to $10 an hour
Off the
doing
books.
labor work off the books. Because somebody
a
would
Mexican.
teach me trade, you know what I mean? Like somebody would teach me trade. Like
those
here's
trades
how
are
here's
dying
how you
art
style.
anymore.
Here's
It's
how
a
you
dying- yeah, but
here's
it's a
how you
dying
build
art.
a
It's
house.
not
Here's how you
necessary
do-
art
They're
anymore.
not doing
And
that
that's the
as much
problem.
anymore. Like they're trying to lock down.
Look,
like
man,
you know, like
people don't.
A lot of that is illegal labor now.
yeah, you know.
But
I
it's
mean,
also,
and
but it's also,
fucked up,
it's also
you
an
know?
element of convenience. You're also looking at a world that's easier to install your own world
Well, no,
and
it's
build your
because
own world.
people-
And
the
you know,
only
things
people-
have changed, and I think you
The
said
only
it best
people
when you just said
building
things have
houses-
changed. Everything has changed. The social order has changed. The way we deal with tech has changed. The way we deal
The
with
only people,
everything.
you know this, the only people building houses, like building a house, are like really wealthy people. You know what I mean? Like
Most of the time, yeah.
Most people live in
Let me tell you
corporate owned developments.
I
you
get
know
what
I
you mean,
mean?
but
Like,
let me tell you
where
something.
they come in and bang them out like 10,
When I was
15
doing-
at a time. You know what I mean? Like people aren't like, oh, I've got enough money, I can call a carpenter and have him build a house for me to raise
It's
my
not
family.
just
in.
that, man.
You have to be
It's not
extremely
just
well
that.
off to do that. You
When
know
I
what
was
I mean?
doing-
Like, you
that
can't,
carpenter
you can't just
doesn't
do
have a
that
job
anymore. You know
When
what
I
I
was
mean?
doing
Like,
tile installation,
yeah.
10 years ago, or however the fuck long it's been now, I mean, people were buying nice houses and knocking them down to
And-
put a nicer house where it was. And I was like, do you know what the fuck I would
The
give
90s,
to just have
you
the...
have no idea.
We're not
The
talking
fixer
the 90s,
upper,
we're talking
yeah.
the mid-2000s
Yeah.
here, man. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tony, what do you want to say?
I had no idea.
Okay.
20 minutes ago, man.
We're gonna cut to the next break.
I gotta pee again.
Because when we come back, we're gonna hear a song from Wood and The Tapeworms. We're gonna talk a little bit.
Something's in the house. Nice.
We're gonna talk a little bit about everybody who's in the room, what they got going
Yes.
on. John Lacki's gonna do a special final word, which we haven't heard in a really long time. So stick the fuck with us, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to us. And the bass.
Fucking pollute the environment and shit.
Fuck everyone.
Speaking of fuck everyone, flood destroys home of Christian lobbyists who said that God made natural disasters to punish the gays.
Oh shit! God
Yeah.
fucking sold him out.
Yeah.
God, outed him.
God was like, sorry, ye are being judged for your stupidity.
So did the guy have anything to say about that shit?
He probably has no
it's just a
comment.
coincidence in my case. I meant everyone else.
The Lord works in mysterious ways. Maybe his border
The
was
amount
gay.
of people that are affected by floods, like that's a lot of gay people that are like.
well, it's not necessarily that God's trying to fly out the gays, but that his rage is so big, it's like fuck everyone. It's like you get pissed off in public at a bar, and you gotta like get some guy. You just start moving people out of the way. They're just
got it.
They're just casualties of war. That's all, and that's what we are.
It's casualties of God's homophobia.
Yeah, because some dudes like it in the butt, and oh no, look out!
Even straight guys like it in the butt.
With all the shit that's going on in the fucking world, that's the problem. That's like this guy's mentally deranged. This guy should be removed from all media. He's a disease.
There's a lot of them going around.
Yeah.
And none of them hug their chickens.
Well, at least now he's got nowhere to live, so maybe he'll die somewhere. Yeah, see how that feels, buddy.
See?
Yeah. The hate's just pouring out tonight. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just pouring out. Sarah, what do you got next?
So there's a I don't know if it's come out yet in places or not, but a urinal that like washes your dick. And I thought,
I'm not interested.
Really? That shocks me because you're always really into like weird toilet related shit that I would never touch.
I don't want to be sprayed by a public toilet in my balls. I do not trust the pipes any more than I trust the ball and dick crust that's been landing into into the probably, it's like a dirt trap, like what you have in a swimming pool. There's got to be one in there because sometimes you go into a men's room and you look at a toilet and you're like, what is all of this? Like, what happened here? And then you wonder, like, does somebody suck this guy's dick? What's with all the extra seasoning coming off? Like, this is disgusting. And now that same public toilet that's washing the balls.
I don't even know what half that meant, but I don't want to know either.
I'm just saying the rim and the seat sometimes have a lot of extra stuff.
I don't know. I don't fucking investigate the way you do.
You don't have to investigate. It's clear to the naked eye. It doesn't take. I don't need a magnifying glass. I don't need a go gadget eye to figure it out. All you have to do is look, because you don't want to sit in this. And I sure as shit don't want dirty recycled ball water from the public.
I don't think it's recycled water.
Eventually it will be. All water goes back to the same place.
The Lord.
Yeah. Yeah, that's of course what I was. I thought I went without saying.
Well, too late now.
Yeah, well, I had to clear it up for you. Man arrested after falling asleep while breaking into cars. Well, it's really
get tuckered out.
It's a passe kind of business these days. Breaking into cars is boring.
Tuckered. It's not his fault that the car was comfortable.
Yeah. I'm not even sure how the hell they like. For some reason, like
What is with all these lazy fucking
like what's with criminals who like break into places to take a nap?
In the past couple years, I feel like there's a huge rise in people who like break into someone's house and then falls asleep in their fucking bed. Like it's not Goldilocks. Like what are you doing, assholes?
Yeah.
Like what is with that? Like listen, if you're gonna go fucking steal something, take a fucking nap. Like what is wrong with you? Just take a nap before you go out.
Take a nap. Get yourself a Red Bull.
Jesus Christ! Like, why wouldn't you be like? I think I need a lot of energy for what's about to happen. Like, why would you be like, man, I'm so sleepy, I can barely stay awake.
Yeah,
but let me just get this out of the way real quick. Like,
and just the arrogance
of being inside someone's home where you're not supposed to be and being like,
You're like,
fuck it, I'll just catch 10 minutes here.
Memory phone? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this bed, I wish I could take this with me. Since I can't, I'm just gonna have to enjoy it as is.
As is.
Yeah. But yeah, for some reason though, my stupid idiot mind, like imagined that this guy was captured, like leaning up against the car, standing up with like,
like from like a fucking helicopter's like hovering over him, and a fucking ladder comes down, and people just whisk him away.
These days you flash.
It's on the X-Files.
These days you flash a smile in the wrong direction, an entire SWAT team comes out of nowhere and kicks the shit out of you.
And then it's on the internet.
Yeah, and then it's on the internet, and then half the people tell you deserve it, and the other half of the people, tell you that you have rights, and then
other people try and tell you that you deserve it because in like 1986 you stole a candy bar from your uncle.
From your uncle, and then you're like, but you don't understand, you don't know the whole story, and people still judge you anyway. Yeah. What do you got next?
Oh, so a sex toy company is being sued because apparently they were monitoring the usage of the customers. Like it could tell them
it had GPS?
What time they would masturbate. Well, use the app to masturbate. And
what do you mean an app?
And then it's like a sex toy that's connected to an app
for your phone, so you can change the speed.
If a couple was separated, one person can control the other person's.
Okay, so somebody can like control
or you could use your own obvious fucking
somebody can like control the clit twiddler.
Yeah, so wait.
Okay.
So what they could monitor was what time you were using it and what settings you had it on.
Wow. That's and unbeknownst to
yeah.
You got to be careful. They're tracking you and everything in your phones nowadays, They want to know when you were masturbating. Can you like watch porn on your phone too as like and like use the controls?
I don't know if it's like the Sphero.
Okay. All right.
Because that you minimize the app and the fucker just shuts off. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I don't know.
That's bullshit. You should be able to minimize and have it run in the background at all times. All apps should be able to do that.
The vibrator?
Anything. Anything. Yeah, the vibrator should always be running in the background.
Oh, it's updating.
Yeah, and then it's not going to work anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, and then do what with that data? But you know what I mean. But what why do you think it pisses people off though? Like
because
you think there's some piece of shit. Like he's just like he's watching like these He's like watching the stats go up of when women are masturbating, and he's like jacking off to the stats in like a warehouse somewhere.
Think about how creepy. Think about all the fucked up things you can find out about someone too. Like you see you see like your husband's roll sheet, and the only time he's jerking off is when he's going to the daycare to like
yeah, right. Yeah, he says he's going out for some bagels. To the Einstein Bagelry.
Like something's not something's not right there.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, why is he using the vibrator at all, number one? Unless he sits on it when he drives for comfort. Which is fine,
It's your thing.
I don't trust I'll give it a shot. I just nothing too big, man. I don't want my asshole split. I don't want a fissure. I don't want a dildo-related fissure.
Like you stumbled on that word. You're like, I don't want a fissure.
I don't want a fissure. Suspected DUI driver hits "Please don't drink and drive" sign in Bremerton. All right, can I just start off by saying how fucking stupid "Please don't drink and drive" signs are to begin with?
They are the worst. They'll have signs that are like "distracted driving kills," and it's like thank you, giant neon blinking sign to the side of the road. Thank you for that. It really helped put things into perspective.
Now that I have all this bokeh in my vision because of your dotted letters, I'll just try to make it through over this fucking bridge in one piece.
It's just another fucking thing. We're at a point where rules have to be recited to you every couple of miles
It's
in whatever
brainwashing.
fucking direction you happen to be going in.
And I'm not condoning drinking and driving.
Your driver's license doesn't necessarily make you competent enough to remember that you shouldn't be staring at shit other than the road when you're driving on it. Don't you dare drink. Like, the people who fucking drink and drive already know they shouldn't do it. And if they see a sign blinking at them telling them, first of all, if they're drunk, it's already too late. And if they're not drunk, then that's not going to fucking help change their minds.
What I love is that they showed a picture of the drink and drive, please don't drink and drive sign, like flattened on the ground like it's a victim. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
Like if it had been on the pavement.
What was it wearing?
Oh, I had it coming. Don't think it didn't. Please don't drink it. You know, I'm glad he hit this sign. Fuck that sign. Like, really, taxpayers' money
now
is going
taxpayers
into
are going to replace that piece of shit.
Yeah, and they'll charge $9,000 for it.
The only thing those things are ever fucking good for is to say that there's a detour coming up.
Yeah.
And that is it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's no reason for this. Please don't drink and drink. You know, and it's like they ask you all cordially.
Like,
please.
this is what I don't get. Okay, those signs say shit like, don't fucking talk on the phone while driving. Fuck the phone. And then it fucking, during the summer, the ones around here say, call 555 blah, 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 blah for your shore traffic news. And it's all right, do you want me to pull over where you're not allowed to pull over to do that? Or how exactly do I follow your fucking insane directions here, robot?
Yeah, but also too, like when you're driving and you pass this sign, you think that any dude behind the wheel of a car holding an open can of beer is gonna go, "Oh shit! Thank God this sign was here," and he just chucks it out the window.
Nobody fucking gives a fuck, dude. But there's like this illusion, like you have to constantly be singing the rules. It's not because the sign itself is there to tell you, and then the person's going to be like, oh my God, I'm not going to drink and drive tonight. It's to remind the person that they're always fucking being watched.
Yeah, right.
That's the point of it. It doesn't matter what the message says.
Yeah, there's always a brainwashing of an overlord authority at all times.
Exactly. That's what the sign is for. It doesn't matter what the fuck it says on it.
All right, what do you got next?
I don't know. We already did the urinals and.
All right, I got a Florida. Oh, go ahead.
Did we talk about the alarm clock in the veg? The alarm vibrator.
I don't think we talked about the alarm vibrator.
Because it's just, I don't know. The whole thing's so stupid.
All right, well, explain to me how this works.
Okay, so it's a vibrator that you set an alarm on, and then it wakes you up in the morning. So you have it in all night, first of all.
So this is something you install?
It's basically a comfort dildo.
Okay, so you got your little nightie on, you install your dildo.
Yeah, and then
but you don't get to enjoy it.
You set the time,
okay,
and then you go to sleep, and then it wakes you up to whatever setting.
Right. And then so you wake up basically being masturbated by a robot who's fucking you in your sleep.
Yeah.
And then you look, I don't really know, like if something's tucked in deep. Hold on, if something's tucked in deep and then you pull it out, is there like an element of morning breath you think that sort of queefs out, like it burps out in the morning because it's been stopped because it's been stopped up all night? You know what I mean? There's been a buildup. There's no
a buildup. A buildup. I don't know how much you're.
I'm asking questions. That's all I'm doing. I want to make sure this is safe. I want to make sure this is safe. I don't know. Yeah. So it wakes you up in the morning. You set the timer, and then you wake up masturbating.
Well, you're not really masturbating at first.
Well,
you're
if you
just
put it in
being
yourself,
part of this.
If you put it in yourself, if it's a premeditated masturbation, then it counts.
I don't know. I think that'd be and they market it as like wake up to orgasms, and it's like you're not gonna fucking come from you're not gonna wake up and just it's not gonna happen.
It could happen,
especially the first time. You're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're gonna be like because you're gonna forget you put it in the night before because you were drunk. You know what I mean? And like you weren't thinking, and somebody gave it to you as like a gag gift, and you're like, I'm gonna try this out. Fuck it. and then you wake up in the morning and you start slapping at your vagina like, what is happening? Am I being attacked by bees?
Like, I don't know. I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to the Ice and the Face Patreon. We're happy that you swam your way through the sewers of the internet to get here with us. Thank you for being here.
Yes, where you travel through the sewers of the internet, we live there.
Exactly right. We're going to explain a little bit about our Patreon rewards program and say thank you very much for
being a friend.
Yes, thank you for being a friend. Our first tier is titled the One of Us tier, where you pledge $1 a month and you get to be pretty awesome for doing that. And we thank you for contributing to our dream. The second tier is called the Sharpened Potato Weaponry tier, and that's where you pledge $3 a month, and you're not only awesome, but you're like super awesome. Like you could tell your parents, your grandparents, your cohorts, your cellmates, anybody who you can talk to. Our third tier, go ahead.
The Spork vs. Chork tier, which will get you 10% off any future Ice in the Face merchandise that we are able to produce from this Patreon. Basically, any donation, $1, $3, $5, it all goes to website costs and trying to get merchandise out to you, and hopefully in the future also towards doing more live shows.
Yeah, and that's $5 a month, by the way. And then we move into our final two tiers, which this is where things get pretty saucy and extra crispy. The fourth tier is the Genital Brick Smashing tier. Now, for $10 a month, you get 20% off of any potential merchandise that we make. You get a free half-hour show. Well, it's not free. For pledging, you get a half-hour show that's available only to Patreons.
Well, on Patreon.
On Patreon, yeah.
You're not a Patreon. You're a patron of the Patreon.
Yes, exactly. And in addition, if you have something that you want us to rage about, or something you need some creepy advice on or something, and you want us to write a blog post about it,
on iceintheface.com.
On iceintheface.com, you can pick either Sarah or myself, and we will have at it on iceintheface.com, and we will shout you out,
or your website, or whatever you want, or if you want to remain nameless, because the subject of your blog post is so horrendous, you would never want the world to know that it came from you originally.
In other words, you're a little embarrassed. You're a little embarrassed.
But we're not.
But we're not. We have no problem with that. Our final tier is the super special one, so it's crispy and dipped in sauce. That's the $15 tier called Hilarity Over Feelings tier. This one gets you 20% off merchandise, just like the last one. But it also gets you, for signing up, once that first payment comes through, you will get a custom Ice and the Face cassette tape sent to your house, or your box outside, or your van in your parents' driveway, wherever you live. We will send it to wherever you want us to. And that will be a custom tape.
And it'll have a secret show on it, but you'll also get a link to a download of a digital version, so that way you don't have to, dig through an attic to find a cassette player. Yeah,
or your parents' basement to get a Walkman out. Though it would be dope to hear what we would sound like in 1988. Also, we'll randomly send you postcards and stuff like that in the mail, so, approach your mailbox with a little bit of caution. You might not want to send mom and dad out there.
And then, for every month you stay part of that tier after the first month, you also get a free... free, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You get a secret show every month on Patreon, and on top of that, you also can suggest if you saw some sort of disturbing news article or website or whatever it is.
Or if you caught your little brother doing something weird and you want us to philosophize on it.
you can suggest a topic for the next secret show for us to talk about. Now, Rick and I never tell each other or discuss what we're gonna bring up on the next Ice in the Face, so that way all reactions are authentic.
All natural.
So, we ask that you make your suggestions to either Rick or myself, so that way it keeps with tradition of both of us not knowing everything that's going to be talked about on that episode.
Presentation is everything. And
Now-
we like to keep ours authentic.
And we do reserve the right to not take certain suggestions.
Sure.
So like if you're like an angry racist,
Right.
we're probably not going to run with that.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to feed into. That's something for you and your family to discuss at Thanksgiving dinner. That's not our issue. That's your issue. So if you need any of this reiterated, you can look down below.
Or you can just press play over again.
Or press over again, or look down below to read in heavy duty detail what each tier is worth. And thank you so much for checking this out, because we really want to expand the world of Ice in the Face. We want this to be our lives.
The world is ugly. Let's make it uglier.
Yeah, let's really dig into it, man. Let's give it some unneeded plastic surgery.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for listening. I'm gonna go totally. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Awesome Talk, Season 7, Episode 4, September 20th, 2016. And right now, we have a special personal bar performance by Wood and The Tapeworms. What are we hearing? What's going on here, real quick?
This song's called White Knuckle Jerk. It was off my first record, Everything Is a Lot, we released last year in May. This song dates back to a period of time I spent at Rutgers University. I was taking some acting classes at Mason Gross, and if you've ever been in an acting class, one of the things you end up learning about it is that you end up developing these connections where at the end of the semester everybody goes like, we're going to stay in touch, right? Because we got really close to each other during this. We explored our emotions together. Man, it's like we all slept together. It was so cathartic. We're so connected now. And then, of course, it's bullshit. You know, you're really what you did is you learned how to pretend really well in front of people. So, like, it's about the surface it goes to. But I developed a really intense crush on somebody I didn't actually know and never spoke to. But she was the perfect kind of bone rack nonsense nobody that I could just project my own desires onto and pretend I had met somebody. You know, you ever meet somebody who's so beautiful that it pissed you off? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know, she was one of those types, and so I wrote this song in response to that feeling of, oh my God, fuck you, how dare you? And
Oh my God,
and you know then I made the mistake of telling her I wrote it about her, which I think came across as creepy.
Maybe.
But as I always say, love is creepy, man. Love is creepy. I mean, you know, whether thinking about somebody all the time, whether or not they want you to.
It's only creepy if you're holding flowers.
You know, I tend to give a little spiel like that when I play this song, where I mention that love is creepy, and you know, then I was in front of a certain type of audience where I realized, you know what, saying love is creepy over and over again probably gives the wrong impression as to my feelings on how to treat women. Love is not supposed to be creepy, but at Mason Gross it was. Anyway, this song's called White Knuckle Jerk. She lays, got the eyes of a snake, loaded dice raising stakes from a cash cow. I'll be her burning victim, hypothermic, so damn hot, I'll come to smiley like a black dot in Glasgow. I woke up in the name that I wore last night to the sound of an empty bed, and it's ringing in my ears just like sweet nothings from the voice
Where do you get off being so goddamn beautiful? Oh Lord. She's got the touch of an anesthesiologist. Please put the under. Because I tremble with that notion that there's something unsaid. But on my head, I'm mumbling innocently. I wonder how I woke up in the middle of my surgery, and I watched them watch my heart. Only the second worst thing that I could have done was that this won't have to end if it doesn't start. Where do you get off being so goddamn beautiful? Oh Lord, don't ask me what I mean. Where do you get off being so goddamn beautiful? Oh Lord, love potion number 9. I'll never know, I'll never know, I'll never know, I'll never know what it's like to love you. I'll never know, I'll never know, I'll never know, I'll never know what it's like. Oh, what it's like to fuck you. So where do you get off being so goddamn beautiful? Oh Lord, heart bluer than my balls. Where do you get off being so goddamn beautiful? Oh Lord, just say that it's so.
Wow, you guys are so fucking talented.
That was fantastic.
Oh my
Thank you.
fucking
That was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks.
You guys have a perfectly natural inclination to play together.
Yeah, that was
It is-
very good.
Wow, dude. Like,
What
I'm
was
not.
that song's name? Mutual Masturbation?
Oh.
White knuckle jerk.
White knuckles.
I was
jerk.
close.
Also
Pretty
known
close,
as-
yeah.
There's not a whole lot of music that gives me a fucking emotional reaction immediately.
I am going
That
to be
song,
screaming from the
Christ.
rooftops about you guys.
thanks, man. Damn
That
it,
was
man.
impressive.
Thank you,
That
thank you.
was
Dude, no,
extremely
thank you
impressive.
for being here.
Yeah,
today,
thanks for
man.
coming.
You guys were
man.
pleasure,
great.
man.
That was spectacular.
We got some feedback in the chat room.
Let me get my glasses because I'm old and fucked up.
Will, your voice is fucking
okay,
awesome.
that's got nothing to do with anything. Will, your voice is fucking awesome. Tune projection.
Tone
vibrate-
projection, tone projection,
Not bad.
vibrato, range, and your harmonies are sick.
I can't hear, but hey, harmonies were great.
Wayne Davison is Rick's uncle, who was an old biker.
Hey, thanks, Uncle.
He says, not bad.
Let me tell you, that man,
You just won over a biker, sort of.
that man hates everybody, so that's a fucking big deal, man.
Sweet, man.
But let me tell you something, man. That is officially the second time I've ever seen you perform live, man.
That was great.
It was just phenomenal, dude.
Thank you, I
You
appreciate
guys
that.
are amazing.
How did you guys get together?
Well, actually, it's, Mike and I go way back.
We met in School of Rock. What was that?
Yeah.
Summer of 8th grade.
Yeah,
I
something
think
like
we
that.
did a summer program at the School of Rock where they put you in a random band.
Oh,
And
okay.
Will looked very different than he does now. He wore this Glen Rock turtleneck all the
wear a
time.
turtleneck.
Oh, excellent.
I remember when we first got put in a group together, I was like, oh my, well, like, we got turtleneck guy? Like, is he gonna play? Because he hadn't
Wait,
spoken.
Yoka stanza.
He hadn't spoken the entire time up until then. I was like, does this guy, like, is he actually gonna play Turtleneck Guy? And I was in a band with Turtleneck Guy. And then he did play. He was very, very good. And we were like, oh my god, like, Turtleneck Guy can play. And that was the first time I really learned the lesson too. Like, don't judge a person based on the turtleneck.
Turtlenecks.
You gotta wait until they do their thing. So we met there. We did. We were in a band called Jam Face throughout. Well, Will had joined a band that I was in called Jam Face. Will was in Verbal Equinox
With John.
for a while with John.
That's
Jam Face was the better band. I like Jam Face.
Thank you. You know, if you
Because
had
I wasn't
said,
in that other band.
that's
so
the thing
that's
is,
nice to me.
yeah. Either way, whichever one you preferred, I could still say thank you, which I love. Try and get my foot in as many doors as possible. That way, you know, nobody can ever criticize me.
The ultimate goal.
Untouchable. Yeah, and John and I played together in a band called Verbal Equinox. I don't know how we met. I guess we met through a mutual friend and a love of Tourette's guy videos.
Nice. Those are good.
But he started a project that was like right up my alley, and I was like, "Fuck this guy! He's got a band that I wish I could be in." And then they kicked out the keyboard player, and like, Turtleneck Guy plays keyboards, and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah!" And it got to a point where eventually I was just kind of like, all right, am I a musician or not? Am I going to fucking cut a record or not? Am I going to play these songs that I wrote or what? And so, you know, I decided, okay, I'm going to actually try and get serious with this. And it just so happened that John from A Verbal Equinox had started working at a new studio, and he was able to cut my first record with a slapdash group of musicians. Mike only actually played on one song.
Jim played the rest of the song. Jim Horvath, again, second name drop.
Yeah, James Horvath, also from Jam Face. And John didn't play bass on the record yet. That was before he had joined the project as a member of the live band, but and eventually then a member of the studio iteration as well. But you know, he just produced and engineered that project. Really
I just
helped
like
to
the
make it happen.
songs. I just beg to hear them on like in my car.
And it makes my blood pump. It makes my heart go pitter patter.
To where?
My penis. My penis.
Makes your penis go
Makes my blood throb.
Oh, be still my cock.
Still my cock.
But
That's a soundbite.
But
I got it.
yeah, and it just. You know,
That's when the camera should cut to him and he should just go.
I got lucky, and these guys decided they wanted to get on board for the live version. And when we started playing live, which didn't happen until after the first record was released, but that's when things started to come together as like a group project. Yeah, that's the answer to that question, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Did I answer the question?
Yeah.
I'm tired.
No, you did a
Great
great job.
I feel like I was there the whole time.
I saw you guys open for Go-Go Bordello.
Yes.
And, dude, that was...
It was a
First
good show
off,
to be at.
It was not
Always
only that.
always a good show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There were a lot of shows you could have been at instead, and you would not have invited us to be on the show.
I think that's bullshit. Because I think, dude, they're young. Man.
Never
These guys are
underestimate
fucking
my
young,
ability
man.
to suck dick.
Yeah.
That's why you're gonna go far.
That's the soundbite.
And I mean that in every way. So
Straight to the top.
No,
But
yeah,
no,
that's a great show to get on. Like that really is. That's
we got lucky, and it goes back to you know about being about who you know, and John's ability to network it with people and having balls, which somebody pointed out. You used very adamantly. You gotta have balls. Who was it? Which one? I don't know. There we go.
We're all about the balls.
But you know, there was really no way in hell that Go-Go Bordello was ever gonna be like, play our show. Why not?
Eugene is one of my dream guests.
I met the guy, had a really nice talk with him.
interaction.
I went up to him because I've been listening to his music since I was like 15 or 16. The first time I saw them was when I saw them with Arctic Monkeys and Tool and all. Right, killer fucking lineup.
Yeah.
Incredible
Dude,
lineup.
great.
Dude, my dad was such a good sport taking me to 16-year-old turtleneck kid to that show. But
I just have this vision of you standing perfectly still in the middle of the crowd with a turtleneck on, watching Tool and go.
You can't wear a turtleneck without like extending your neck.
Yeah, right. That's the point of it.
Is it hot in here?
You're lost in a sea of people.
I'm really
It's just
warm.
You right
But
in the middle.
I got lucky enough to meet the guy before playing the show, and I went up to him. And he was busy. He was trying to get somewhere, and I just wanted to talk to him for a second and let him know, hey man, I'm a big fan. So I go to him, hey dude, I just wanted to say, I don't know if this is like tacky or something, but I'm a huge fan. He said, no, it's not tacky. Backing away, like with guitars. As a man in full makeup and a Hillary Clinton coat is coming to listen, man, I just want to say that I'm like a really big fan.
What are you doing with your hands? Are you grabbing your tits?
I hope that's
What
not
is
tacky.
I love you so much, I'm gonna murder you.
I've been waiting for this my entire life.
To answer your question, I have peripheral neuropathy.
Google it.
And an essential tremor. So forgive me for holding my hands in a way less than entirely acceptable by your standards. Also, I'm just a limp-wristed guy.
Play with your tits.
Hey man, I worked really hard to get rid of those tits. The tits I used to have when I was still a turtleneck guy. He neglected the tits. He didn't mention the tits.
We
but it was turtleneck and tits.
actually called them turtle tits.
Dude, you're so smart.
It just got so much darker.
What's your secret? I can't do this, man.
We took the express lane to depravity.
This just took a hard turn.
So,
I was definitely a right.
talk a little bit about what's going on with you guys currently.
Seriously,
Where can
turtle
people
tits.
find you online? All that shit.
Right now we just finished pushing an entire living being out of our birth canal.
I heard so bad.
It
was
really
a bitch.
hurts.
Nice.
I bet it smells weird.
It smells weird. I mean, we all got the daddy stitch, so we're ready. But you know, we're not.
That's a good name for a band.
It's
Yes.
that's Will Wood and the Daddy Stitches.
That's you guys.
But we're working on some really special stuff right now that I don't want to say too much about it because then I have to be held to it. And
Yeah,
I
right.
When it doesn't
accountable for
happen,
what I said.
people will bitch.
Exactly.
I get it.
And my mouth has gotten me in trouble before.
I know the feeling.
I didn't mean to say it that way, but I talk too
I know
much.
the feeling
We just released the new record, Selfish, which is just a 32-minute, 8-track concept album, crowdfunded, really weird, heavy, heady, strange, psychedelic shit.
And it's about shrimp.
It's about what?
Shrimp.
Shrimp?
Nobody else got the shellfish reference?
Oh, okay.
There was a publication that did a review.
It totally sounded
and they
like
said that
shellfish.
the name of the
I thought
record
it was a
Shellfish.
dud, and then you said that, and I was like, oh,
it's
that's
not shellfish.
I think it's hilarious, though.
It is, yeah.
Apparently, a publication reviewed
Misquoted.
our record and called it Shellfish.
Yeah,
so I can imagine that's why you.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write about you guys, man. You guys
But-
are
Cool.
awesome. Thank you.
Shellfish is
I
good.
love
I
you
like
guys.
shellfish.
The new record was a labor of love. It was really fucking hard to put together. But we had a lot of really great help from a lot of really talented individuals. Kevin Entrez with the Dillinger Escape Plan was behind the controls producing.
That's amazing.
Alex Noth of Foxy Shazam did some trumpet and some vocal work. Really, really talented guy. Great guy. Just sent his tracks over from Ohio.
He's scary nice.
Yeah, he's scary nice. And his band is terrifyingly nice. Josh Pilot, if you're watching right now, I'm
Such a cute dude.
so fucking cute. Of course, we had Matt Olson of Frank Ayer and the Celebration playing the drums
Oh
on
man,
there.
what a professional!
Holy
what a
shit.
professional guy to work
Yeah.
with. That guy came in 2 practices, just banged him out.
And hardly even
That's
2
awesome.
full practices.
Such a professional.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Matt.
and we paid the guy in a 6-pack and backpacks, backpats, and so the fact that
Backpacks.
we
Six
gave
packs.
What were those
Backpack.
backpacks filled
Like,
with?
how many backpacks?
It was like the
filled with
Batman.
Were they
dildos.
filled with 5s? Like, what are we talking about here?
I have a speech impediment.
So the guy that wore a turtleneck can't talk.
and peripheral
With his man
neuropathy.
tits. Turtle tits.
and borderline personality disorder.
I feel like you guys are
Turtle tits?
Yeah, you're like brotherly. All right, go ahead.
I do like them actually. I only
Dude, I love these
people I
guys.
like.
These guys are my favorite.
Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, the record just came out, and so far it's gotten a pretty good response with reviews. So hopefully we're going to be following up with some. We got some shows coming up. We got the 27th. That's this Tuesday with Justin Symbol at Roxy and Dukes.
Love Roxy and Dukes.
Yeah, it seems like a really cool place. We haven't played there before.
Okay.
But,
You'll love it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. So I'm looking forward to that. And then of course we've got 2 more shows coming up in October. We got 2 right back to back. The 20th we'll be playing back at. I'm sorry. The 20th is
October 20th.
Is
Flash Bar.
We're going to be playing with the Skulks, Alex Knopf's band, along as well as
Comb
the Desert,
Super
and
Snake.
Super Snake.
Nice.
And then on the 22nd we'll be playing once again at Roxy and Dukes for a fun industry showcase that some folks are putting together. But right now we're really, at least I personally am really trying to reapproach and reevaluate what I want, and who I am as an artist and as a songwriter, and so the music that I've been writing as of late is going to be very different compared to what people think Will Wood and the Tapeworms is, which I think is at this point kind of my MO, where on Everything Is a Lot, all the songs sound like a different genre, and then on Selfish, it's like different from that. So I don't know. Anyway, things are getting weird, and so we'll see what happens.
I don't know. I agree with the ideology, man. I think that you should change it up,
man. Absolutely.
I think it's smart to do that, and I think
I don't do it on purpose. I
find that people.
No, but when it strikes you, it strikes you.
Yeah. Even as early as 10 years ago, I feel like when you ask somebody what kind of music they listen to, they would give you a genre. And I feel like nowadays when you say, "What do you listen to?" people say, "I listen to everything. I like a little bit of everything."
They all say everything but country.
But even that, I feel like it's starting to change now.
Yeah, I hope so. There's some great country music out there.
But I feel like if what you're trying to do is make a mix of all that stuff, I think that's smart, man. And not just smart. Like I feel like it represents what's going on right now, which is I think anything goes at the moment. And like I said, man, I know I keep saying it, but you guys did it well.
Thank you.
When I saw you guys, I thought it was great, and I'm really glad you guys were here tonight.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thanks for having us, dude. This has been incredible.
Where can you guys find you online?
You can
and girls, I guess, whoever.
Especially girls, you can find us online at
Pornhub.com.
Why do I feel like that's an actual website?
Check it, guys. Check it out.
I have done a few. You can find us at facebook.com/Will Wood and The Tapeworms. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat under the same handle. That's at Tapeworms Music, so that's pretty easy to find. Or you can find all that information at willwoodandthetapeworms.com. Or you can just Google us, and a picture of something that seems kind of unrelated
Turtle
shows
tits.
up. It must be that this guy joined my band when I didn't notice. It must be that.
I couldn't help it. I keep hearing Will Wood and the Tapeworms, but I'm really hearing Will Wood and the Turtle Tits.
Far out.
Anything else? Now, there's something that we're gonna get to everybody.
Oh,
here.
Snapchat. Did you mention Snapchat?
I did. But let me reiterate.
Reiterate.
Your nose is bleeding.
Not regurgitate.
Let me regurgitate. You can find us on Snapchat at Tapeworms Music. That's the same as our Twitter and our Instagram handles. So
be careful.
Pretty easy to find us.
Don't snap after 2 a.m.
Yeah, don't snap after 2 a.m.
Dangerous.
You will get our penises in one photo.
All of
our penises.
Sword fight.
Okay, so I want to get to the final word and all that stuff, but what's going on with Ronin right now that you want to put out there?
We're recording music again, and we have a video out that I thought was pretty cool that you played before, and I'm in the Graveyard School, and we're playing shows next month too, and it's been fun. I hope you understand that busting balls for me just means that I think you're cool. So,
thanks.
You made them
Not
feel
offended.
special.
not offended.
Come on,
It's-
Turtle.
Yeah, I don't.
Come on.
It took a mic. Or two.
Anything else? Anything else you want to? How can people find you online?
Facebook and yeah, Mayhem NJ. There you go.
Okay. Thank you. So now, you're obviously last.
Okay.
First off, I want to say, if you want to
seems
find,
so
Yeah, it's
offensive.
Yeah.
no, you're last
Nobody
because
cares
Sit
about
down,
you.
Lasty.
it's Lacki.
Ryan.
First off, I want to say thank you guys for being here tonight.
Of course, man.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, dude. These
Like I
are
said,
awesome.
me, Sarah, and John Lacki, we saw you guys open for Go-Go, and you guys were incredible, dude. And I'm really glad that you guys were here tonight because you're great guests, you're great musicians, and I'm just glad you guys were here. You guys were great. I want to thank Michael Mayhem for being here. Michael Mayhem, he knows he's a dick. He tries to be, you know what I mean? But he's a good guy. And you know what, dude? Ronin kicks fucking ass, dude.
Well, thank you.
And I love that, dude. That fucking music video you sent me was fucking amazing, dude.
Well, thank you.
Amazing. And I hope people to check it out. I put it in the description, so if people want to subscribe to both these guys' YouTube pages, it's down in the description.
Teamwork.
Tapeworms.
Worms.
Yeah, that's me.
You too, Mike.
And I want to say, if you want to find Awesome Talk online, go to awesometalktv.com. Awesome Talk TV on Twitter and on Facebook. It's Awesome Talk Online. And Sarah and I do another podcast called Ice and the Face. So find iceandtheface.com. Thank you. For all kinds of shit, and you can find us all over the place from there. This is my favorite show of the season, I think, so far. And I want to say that for our
You're
guests...
such a brown noser. I want to like rub it all over you.
I'm gonna shit in your mouth.
Do it. You
Is
won't.
that how your nose got brown?
I don't think I have enough room.
I like that.
For guests, we reserve something called the final word. So if you had a final message to the world you wanted to put out there, which of you guys would like to go first? It's the last thing you get to say to the whole world. They're all watching. What is it?
I gotta pee.
You gotta pee. Okay. Understood.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Willwood.
More than 2 words.
Just say, listen to the band, man. Just say it.
Listen to the band.
Final word.
All right.
Mayhem.
Is that it?
I am mayhem.
All right. So then we bring the special final word over to John Lacki of supertmh2.com. TMH2.
He's got notes.
So I had to write mine down because it's long.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. So I wrote a story, and it's called "The Cat's Crawl Space Toilet and My Broken Brain." Here we go. So 3 days without a poop or pee in my cat's litter box. No amount of digging in the eco-friendly, if you were hungry enough you could eat it, corn-based litter produced a sign that my cat was doing 2 of the few things that she does on a daily basis. Full disclosure, I have no idea how bodies work, human, feline, or otherwise. But I have enough experience with going to the bathroom to know that if I didn't do it for 3 days, the odds of me dying would be high. And the same stuff comes out of my cat. Therefore, I deduced that the cat is dying. To silence the part of my brain repeating, "The cat is dying," I did the thing that I do best. 30 seconds of frantic internet research. Cat, no poop, pee, 3 days, produced thousands of results, all saying the same thing. If your cat isn't dying, it's already dead. I tried reasoning with the results, but I'm looking at my very much alive cat right now. She seems fine. The word "no" flashed on the screen, followed by pixelated skulls screaming the words "cat killer." It was time to gently break the news to my wife. Maybe I could start referring to the cat in the past tense, reflecting on the good times that we had before her excretory system shut down. No, too confusing. The charade falls apart when the cat is rubbing on my leg as I tearfully recount the times that we had a cat that was alive. Instead, I use my best, "This is an extremely casual conversation" voice. It's the voice I use to hide the fact that my brain is broken by even the slightest change in routine. The voice that I run through a calming translator that turns frantic sentence fragments into complete thoughts, punctuated with very cool chuckles in the sense that, look, I could totally handle the situation on my own, but I just wanted to have a quick chat with you first to prove that I'm not overthinking this. I am not overthinking this. Okay, first of all, you need to calm down, was my wife's response. Clearly my calming translator was malfunctioning. She's probably just going somewhere else in the house.
This notion seemed ridiculous to me, as her top-of-the-line litter box was the winner of the 2009 International Contemporary Furniture Fair Design Award. And I was promised an unparalleled experience, not just for my cat, but for me as well. A litter box so well designed that a video of Johnny Ive comparing the feeling you get when you scoop a clump of pee out of the box to a religious experience would not seem out of place. We checked under the beds, we checked the closets, basement corners, nothing. Then I remembered the weird crawl space underneath the basement stairs. I turned on my phone's flash and shone it in the dark corners of the crawl space and saw what could only be described as the gates of hell. 3 days of cat waste in awful piles. Rivers of urine staining the concrete floor, obscured only by the shadows of hot pipes overhead. These were the missing scenes from Nine Inch Nails' Closer video that they could only show after 2 in the morning. Cleaning the crawl space involved crawling on my hands and knees, scrubbing the concrete floor with heavy-duty pet urine cleaner, waiting 5 to 10 minutes for the chemicals to do their thing, then wiping up the runoff with 1,000 paper towels, all while bashing my head against the previously mentioned hot pipes. We moved her litter box into the crawl space, and she was making it obvious that this is where she would like to go to the bathroom, please, but she still wouldn't use it. This continued for a week, and after the 3rd day, my brain started to produce a chemical that made me think I was smelling cat piss 24 hours a day. This was also Christmas Day. I kept this fun development for my wife until I brewed a pot of the fancy coffee she bought for me and had myself a merry nervous breakdown when it tasted like the floor of the cat's crawlspace toilet. Don't you like it? She asked. I held up one finger, which is the international sign for give me a minute while I Google coffee urine taste and get real sad about the ways in which my brain doesn't work in stressful situations. Because I never assume that things will be okay again. There's a straight line running through my head labeled everything is fine. Then the cat goes to the bathroom on the floor, the line skyrockets, and then nothing is fine. I obsess and then obsess over the fact that I'm obsessing, but I can't let anyone know that I'm obsessing over something so small, so I bottle it up and then obsess some more until ultimately coffee tastes like cat piss. In the end, all the cat wanted was a less bougie litter and a litter box that would disgust Johnny Ive with its pedestrian gray plainness. Perhaps it was a sign from God, punishing us for our pretensions. Instead of receiving a savior for Christmas, we received a half-feral, 8-pound furball, hell-bent on the destruction of our crawl space through urine and feces-based protest. I'm sorry. But her new setup seemed to be working. I gave the floor one last chemical scrub, and we packed every large bin in the house into the offending area, leaving just enough room for her litter box. Since that now meant we couldn't reach it without climbing into the crawl space, we bought a long extendable claw arm to grab the box for daily scooping. Also, since her bathroom is completely devoid of light, we bought a battery-powered lantern which creates unholy shadows as the mechanical claw disappears into the void of the crawl space. This setup turns litter box maintenance into a bizarre game of chance where every prize is shit. And while I'm grateful, the real prize is the Band-Aid on my broken brain, placed like a badge of honor after successfully winning a battle of wills against feline basement ISIS.
John Lacki, super TMH2.com. Oops, sorry, Goops.
Can I just say, after that, Merry Christmas.
I want to say thank you again, everybody who watched tonight. I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Cold Cock Whiskey, Nevermore-Designs.com. I want to say thank you very much to Wood and The Tapeworms for being here tonight. I want to say thank you very much to Michael Mayhem from Ronin coming in tonight. I want to say thank you very much to John Lacki for SuperTeamH2.com. Yep. And you know what, everybody? That is Season 7, Episode 4 of Awesome Talk, one of my favorite episodes of all time. And Ryan, thank you all very much for drinking with us.
Motherfuckers, that is awesome talk.
That is awesome talk. Have a good night, everybody.
Take care of yourselves.